Chapter 64. So it was a misunderstanding, but this misunderstanding had serious consequences. After hearing Mo Chen's explanation, Night Sorrow knew that this matter was indeed troublesome. Neither side was in the wrong, but there was an irreconcilable grudge. Yes, this is an irreconcilable grudge. That's why I don't dare to make senior sister angry, Mo Chen said. I'll help you find out when I have time, Night Sorrow said with a smile. No, I don't even know what's going on with Chu Lingfei. Maybe she's married. Mo Chen sighed. In order to avenge Guan Yi, Mo Chen had been ignoring the outside world for more than 10 years. Night Sorrow couldn't do anything about this. No one knew what would happen after more than 10 years of indifference. After leaving the city, the two of them got on their flying mounts. Their mission this time was to go to a bandit lair and rescue a young lady from a big family. If something happened to the young lady, then they would have to eliminate this group of bandits. According to the mission description, this person was a troublemaker from the mountains. His cultivation base was not high, but he was very familiar with the terrain. The mission's priority was to find this group of bandits. The last place the bandits appeared was near the Black Cloud Swamp. Night Sorrow felt that with Tianyu's help, it wouldn't be hard to find the bandits' hiding place. He also felt that the young lady had no chance. She wouldn't be killed, but it was hard to say whether she would be the wife of the bandit leader or not. Night Sorrow was in charge of the mission. Mo Chen's job was to protect Night Sorrow's safety. Before accepting the Bloodthirsty Wolf King's mission, Mo Chen had been very careful. He didn't dare to let go of Night Sorrow. Many Black Iron missions were done by cultivators of the Qi Gathering Realm. Cultivators of the Qi Refining Realm with the Black Iron token would only do small missions at first. As their cultivation increased, the difficulty of the missions would slowly increase. After Yi Shang successfully killed the Bloodthirsty Wolf King, Mo Chen didn't think so anymore. He felt that even a cultivator in the early stage of element gathering tier was no match for Yi Shang in terms of battle prowess. Most importantly, Yi Shang's talent for battle was extremely strong. He knew how to choose the most effective battle strategy based on the terrain and the complexity of the situation. After arriving at the Black Cloud Swamp, Night Sorrow let Tianyu fly at a low altitude around the Black Cloud Swamp to look for clues. The Black Cloud Swamp had a circumference of 300 to 400 miles. Night Sorrow controlled Tianyu to fly at a low altitude. 1 hour later, Night Sorrow let Tianyu land because Night Sorrow saw footprints on the black sand beside the water. It shouldn't be too far from here, Night Sorrow said after squatting down to check the footprints. How can you tell? Perhaps it was left behind in the past, Mo Chen said. Impossible. Although there are no waves here, the humidity is very high. The dew at night is like a drizzle. The footprints can't have been here for more than 3 days, Night Sorrow said with certainty. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Mo Chen was stunned. He was also an experienced tracker, but he couldn't tell what these footprints were. Looking at the footprints, Night Sorrow led the way in front while Mo Chen followed behind with Tianyu and the golden-winged eagle. Night Sorrow walked and stopped frequently, even when he entered the forest. Although he would stop sometimes to analyze, his speed was definitely not slow. Mo Chen was experienced in tracking in the forest. He knew that Night Sorrow was heading in the right direction. When humans walked through the forest, even if they didn't leave footprints, they would leave traces, such as fallen leaves. Even if they didn't leave footprints, there would still be changes. Night Sorrow walked forward in a zigzag manner while Mo Chen followed behind with the 2 flying tamed beasts. 4 hours later, Yi Shang saw signs of a fire being lit. Senior brother, from the looks of it, the fire was set yesterday. There were many of them, so they couldn't have moved too quickly. I estimate that they are only a few hundred kilometers away from us. Yi Shang took out a wine jug and took a sip of wine. Yes, that's right. The bones are still very fresh. Mo Chen nodded as he looked at the bones beside the fire. If something happens to the girl, it will be troublesome. We have to kill all of them. Night Sorrow didn't reject killing, but killing all of them still made him feel a little conflicted. The bandits were a group, so there must be children. Even if they didn't kill the children, without the adults to take care of them, the children would still die. It depends on the situation. If something happens to the girl, we will kill all 3 of their leaders and take their heads. The mission will be considered complete, Chen said after thinking for a while. The mission introduction only mentioned the characteristics of the 3 leaders. If they couldn't save the girl, then they would take the heads of the bandits. Senior brother, if the girl is defiled by the bandits and we save her, should we also kill the bandits? Night Sorrow asked after thinking for a while. It depends on the situation. But if you do something wrong, you have to bear the consequences. The leaders of this bandit group must not be left alive, Chen said. The 2 drank some wine and ate some dried meat before continuing on. Night Sorrow still had a lot of missions on hand, so they couldn't waste too much time. They still hadn't caught up with the bandits even when it was night time. The bandits lived in the mountains all year round, so their survival skills were very strong and their speed was also very fast. Looking at the sky, Night Sorrow was a little hesitant. It was very dangerous deep in the mountains at night. If they rashly followed the bandits, they could easily be attacked. Normally, we shouldn't chase them. But at this time, they should be setting up camp. Ride on Tianyu and search for 200 to 300 miles in the sky. If we can't find them, we will chase them tomorrow, Chen suggested. Okay. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow felt that Chen's idea was feasible. Tianyu, remember this place. If we can't find the target, we will come back, Night Sorrow said to Tianyu and got on Tianyu's back. Chen rode on the golden-winged eagle and followed Night Sorrow and Tianyu. After ascending into the sky, Night Sorrow looked at the terrain and chose a relatively flat direction to start chasing. After an hour, Night Sorrow discovered a situation. There was smoke rising from a canyon. This was the sign of a fire. Controlling Tianyu to land, Night Sorrow carried the reincarnation spear and crept over. Traps, beast traps, hanging spear boards. Night Sorrow saw a lot of hunters' methods. This made him understand that the bandits he was looking for were most likely in the canyon. If they were cultivators who had a very strong cultivation, they wouldn't do these things. I knew why newer previous if seeing Night Sorrow avoid one trap after another, Chen understood that although Night Sorrow was young, he was definitely an experienced hunter. After creeping into the canyon, Night Sorrow carefully probed ahead. He wasn't sure if this group of people were bandits, but they were definitely hunters. If he wasn't careful, he would be discovered. Carefully creeping to one side of the canyon, Night Sorrow climbed up the canyon's mountain wall and looked towards the center. Chen followed behind and stayed below the canyon's mountain wall, watching Night Sorrow's actions. With one look, Night Sorrow discovered that these people were the bandits he was looking for. According to the information provided by the big family, there were 3 bandit leaders. One had a scar on his face, one had a neck that was scratched by a demonic beast, and the last one was bald. Night Sorrow saw all 3 of them. At this moment, the bald man was sitting on a tree stump and eating barbecued meat. Beside his feet was a woman whose hands and feet were tied. She was sitting diagonally on the ground. Chapter 65. Second brother, why are you in such a hurry? Let's wait for 2 more days. If he still doesn't yield, then we'll enjoy it together. The bald leader said. Die. These 2 must be killed. After listening to their conversation, Night Sorrow decided to get rid of them. Even bandits had their own morals. These 2 were complete scum. Big brother, second brother, since she's not willing, then forget it. She's still a child. The youth with the scar on his face said. Don't say any more. There's no room for discussion. The bald leader waved his hand and said. Night Sorrow looked at the tied-up girl. Upon closer inspection, she was indeed as the youth with the scar had said. She was only 16 or 17 years old. Following the walls of the canyon, Night Sorrow slowly made his way inside. He wanted to attack from behind. For the sake of the girl's safety, he wanted to kill the bald leader as soon as possible. This time, Chen did not continue to follow. He already had a rough understanding of the situation of the bandits in the canyon. The only ones who could fight were the 3 leaders who had just entered the element-gathering realm. The rest of the bandits were just strong hunters. Night Sorrow followed the mountain wall and circled around to the back of this group of people. He descended the mountain wall and approached the group of bandits. When he was about 15 to 15 meters away from the group of bandits, Night Sorrow took out the hand knife he used to cut barbecued meat. With a wave of his hand, he shot the knife towards the scarred second brother. At the same time, he took a step forward and stabbed his spear towards the bald leader's back. When Night Sorrow's hand knife broke through the air, the bandits knew they were being attacked. Second brother jumped and dodged the attack. When the bald leader got up, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear arrived. In a hurry, the bald leader retreated. He did not understand the situation and did not dare to act rashly. Standing at the spot where the bald leader had been sitting, Night Sorrow flicked the reincarnation spear in his hand a few times. The ropes on the girl's hands and feet were cut off by Night Sorrow. The cloth in her mouth was also shaken off by Night Sorrow's spear tip. "Who are you?" The bald leader saw Night Sorrow's young face and immediately felt more confident. Look at M. NB version YQ chapter section J0s 5" It's alright. Don't be afraid. Stand behind me. Ignoring the baldy, Night Sorrow held his reincarnation spear horizontally and shielded the girl behind him. Then, he whistled and Tianyu appeared and landed behind Night Sorrow. There's nothing wrong with being a bandit, but you must have principles. Die. Night Sorrow stomped on the ground and soared into the sky. He executed the wind-chasing spear art and the reincarnation spear was aimed at the baldy's throat. You haven't even shed your hair, what are you shouting for? You're the one who's looking for death by meddling in other people's business. Bald Big Brother pulled out the machete from his waist and slashed towards the side of Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. At this moment, Second Brother, who had a scar on his neck, also made his move. He also used a long spear and thrust it towards Night Sorrow's waist. Crack! Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear burst forth with vibrating energy and directly shook off the baldy's machete. Then, he quickly extended his arm and pierced through the baldy's throat. After piercing through the baldy's throat, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear reverberated and hit Second Brother's long spear, who had a terrifying scar on his neck. After shaking Second Brother's long spear away, the reincarnation spear quickly extended towards Second Brother's throat. Realizing that Bald Big Brother was dead, Second Brother retreated. He didn't want to fight anymore. Knowing that he wasn't Night Sorrow's opponent, how could he still dare to fight? He immediately retreated. Night Sorrow extended his right hand and slapped the reincarnation spear's tail with his left hand. The reincarnation spear shot out and chased after Second Brother. The reincarnation spear that was shot out by Night Sorrow's left hand was as fast as lightning. It instantly caught up with Second Brother and pierced through his chest. Night Sorrow's feet shook as he caught up with the reincarnation spear. With a shake of his right hand, he shattered Second Brother's internal organs. Grabbing the reincarnation spear, Night Sorrow pulled out his right hand and swung the spear towards Third Brother, who had a scar on his face. Don't kill him. The girl not far behind Night Sorrow shouted. Yisheng stopped. At the moment, he was only a few feet away from the Third Brother with the scar. The Third Brother with the scar was still retreating. He still has a conscience. If he didn't stop me, I don't know what kind of situation I would be in right now. The girl said. Night Sorrow held the long spear in his hand and looked at Third Brother. Please show mercy. Third Brother knelt on the ground with one knee. If you're afraid of death now, you shouldn't have been a bandit in the first place. Night Sorrow said coldly. I'm not afraid of death. I'm afraid that if I die, no one will take care of them. Third Brother turned his head and looked at the bandits in tattered clothes behind him. There were women and children among the bandits. 13, forget it. They are actually refugees. It's just that their leader is scum. Mo Chen walked out and chopped off the heads of 2 bandit leaders with 2 slashes. There are many paths to choose from in this world. The most important thing is to constantly strive for self-improvement. Night Sorrow looked at third brother and said, "Brother, please don't kill my third uncle." A little girl came to Night Sorrow's side and knelt down. "Okay, I won't kill him." Night Sorrow nodded his head and put the reincarnation spear back on his back. He also put away the two heads. He's strong and can do anything he wants. He was also a hunter some time ago. Look at him now, choosing the right path is very important. Chen shook his head helplessly and pointed at Night Sorrow. "I can support myself, but they can't." Third brother said helplessly. "My family is in the cloth business. We need people. If you're willing, you can come work for us." The woman looked at the man and woman in tattered clothes behind third brother and said, "Thank you, sister." The kneeling little girl started to kowtow to the woman. "I'm willing to be a slave if I can take care of these people in the village." Third brother said to the woman, "No. You're different from those two. I think you should be the same kind of person as them. In order to thank you for what you've done for me these past few days, I'll help you take care of these people. You can pursue your own sky." The woman glanced at Chen and Yishang before speaking to the scarred youth. After leaving the address for third brother, the woman walked to Night Sorrow's side. "Thank you for saving us. If there's nothing else, let's go." 13. Your Tianyu isn't suitable for carrying heavy loads for a long time. Let her sit with me on the golden-winged eagle. Chen said. Night Sorrow nodded and walked to Tianyu's side. "Wait, can I know your name?" Third brother called out to Night Sorrow. "Night Sorrow of Medicine Valley, Taishian Peak. If you want revenge, come find me at any time." Night Sorrow's body flashed and landed on Tianyu's back. Chen and Night Sorrow found a safe place with the woman and set up camp. After setting up camp, Night Sorrow began to meditate. "Master, was that young master really a hunter in the past?" The woman beside Chen looked at Night Sorrow who was meditating and asked. "Yes, he became my junior 2 months ago. If he didn't come for the mission, you might have been in trouble." Chen smiled. Chapter 66. You mean that Yu Luo is quite strong? Chen asked curiously. Yes, Yu Luo is the strongest in the group just now. These days, he's been the one fighting the demonic beasts. Normally, he's not very strong, but he can transform. After transforming, he can tear apart tigers and leopards. The woman said. A special bloodline. I didn't expect it to be a special bloodline. People with special bloodlines are usually arrogant. No wonder he didn't want to be in the same boat as Baldy. However, even if he has a special bloodline, it's still impossible for him to defeat 13. Chen smiled. He knew Night Sorrow's strength. As long as it was within rank 2, Night Sorrow could fight it. After cultivating for a night, Night Sorrow woke up in the morning. He took Tianyu out to catch 2 prey and gave one to the golden-winged eagle. Night Sorrow started a fire and roasted one for Tianyu. What's the next mission? Chen looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Ironback Bear's gallbladder. Night Sorrow cut off the roasted boar's hind leg and gave the rest to Tianyu. Ironback Bear is a rank 2 demonic beast. However, it's slow, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Chen took a knife and gave some of the boar's leg to the woman. Night Sorrow nodded. He had some understanding of bear-type demonic beasts. Bear-type demonic beasts were known for their immense strength and violent temper. They weren't as intelligent as other demonic beasts and were at a disadvantage in terms of speed. After eating, Night Sorrow got on Tianyu's back and flew towards the ice snow mountain where the ironback bear roamed. The ice snow mountain was tens of thousands of meters high. Half of the mountain was covered with snow all year round. Bears were afraid of heat and cold, so there were more bears in the ice snow mountain. After half a day, Yishang and Chen arrived at the ice snow mountain with the girl. Night Sorrow didn't control Tianyu to fly too high. The ironback bear was suitable for heights of 5,000 to 6,000 meters. Any higher and it would be the snow bear's habitat. After searching for half an hour, Night Sorrow found a lone ironback bear. "Senior brother, this is the lone one. I will kill him, and we will return to Dan Ding's city," Night Sorrow said and prepared to go down. "It's not alone, it's the Bear King." Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Immerse quickly reminded Night Sorrow who was about to go down. "Bear King? Senior brother, what's its cultivation base?" Night Sorrow asked. "Peak Tier 2. He's entered the fake core stage," Immerse said to Night Sorrow. The cultivation of a false core realm was in between the second and third order. Their strength exceeded the second order but had yet to reach the third order. Third order martial artists or demonic beasts would form an inner core. A false core was a transformation of the energy in the Dantian, but it had yet to truly form an inner core. "I'll give it a try." Night Sorrow thought for a moment and felt that if it was any other demonic beast, he would have no chance of success. However, this ironback bear was slow, so he might have a chance. Seeing Night Sorrow's back fall from Tianyu's back, Immerse felt that there was no point in following him. Night Sorrow could face some things on his own. He was completely different from those new disciples. He was not a flower in a greenhouse, he had the ability to survive. Landing on Tianyu's back, Night Sorrow approached the Ironback Bear King. When Night Sorrow was about 200 feet away from the Ironback Bear King, the Ironback Bear King discovered Night Sorrow. It roared and rushed towards Night Sorrow. Seeing the Ironback Bear King rushing towards him, Night Sorrow scanned his surroundings and decided to fight it here. When the Ironback Bear King was about 40 feet away from Night Sorrow's feet shook and his body flashed to the back of a cedar. The Ironback Bear King, which weighed 2,000 to 3,000 jin, could not stop and rushed past the side of the cedar. The cedar that Night Sorrow was hiding in was so thick that it would take 6 or 7 people to wrap their arms around it. Even if the Ironback Bear King was ferocious, it could not directly crash into it. After charging for about 50 to 60 feet, the Ironback Bear King finally stopped and turned around to rush towards Night Sorrow again. Seeing the Ironback Bear King rushing towards him, Night Sorrow did not dodge to the side. Instead, he stomped his feet and jumped up. The instant Night Sorrow jumped up, the Ironback Bear King pounced on the spot where he was standing a moment ago. Its huge body crashed into the cedar, creating a rumbling sound. Night Sorrow's body landed and his right foot ferociously kicked the back of the Ironback Bear King's head. His body landed behind the Ironback Bear King and his reincarnation spear fiercely stabbed into the Ironback Bear King's waist. The reincarnation spear pierced 2 feet into the Ironback Bear King's body, but the intense pain caused the Ironback Bear King to wake up from its dizzy state. It turned around and was about to attack Night Sorrow who was behind it. "Ah!" Night Sorrow, who had turned around with the Ironback Bear King, let out a low roar. The energy of the 6th layer of the blood refining realm poured into his arms. His arms pushed the reincarnation spear forward and continued to stab into the Ironback Bear King's body. After cultivating the myriad Dao Tome, Night Sorrow's arms had the strength of 2,500 kilograms even if he didn't use any cultivation techniques. Now that all the energy of the blood refining realm was released, his strength had at least doubled. The Ironback Bear King's body was pierced by Night Sorrow's spear. Night Sorrow's hands were holding onto the Ironback Bear King's waist. Feeling that the Ironback Bear King was about to turn around, Night Sorrow's shoulder pushed against the Ironback Bear King's butt. His legs exerted force as he pushed the Ironback Bear King forward. After being pierced by Night Sorrow's spear, the Ironback Bear King was already heavily injured. It was pushed forward by Night Sorrow. F***CK. 1 step, 2 steps, Night Sorrow and the Ironback Bear began to compete. The Ironback Bear King's strength was great, but it wasn't convenient for it to push backward. Its strength was reduced by 30%, and it was constantly pushed forward by Night Sorrow. After a dozen steps, Night Sorrow pushed the Ironback Bear King to another cedar tree. The Ironback Bear King, whose body had been pierced, used its 2 front paws to push against the cedar tree, resisting Night Sorrow's push. Unable to push the Ironback Bear King away, Night Sorrow let out a low roar. His arms began to shake the reincarnation spear's shaft. He then pulled it back and stabbed it again, continuously expanding the iron-backed bear king's injuries. I wonder which one of them is the bear. The scene of Night Sorrow and the iron-backed bear fighting to the death shocked Imochen. It also stunned Huang Yu, who had just been rescued. Night Sorrow's shoulder pressed against the iron-backed bear king's buttocks. He grabbed the reincarnation spear's shaft and shook it continuously. He pulled it out a little and then stabbed it back in. A quarter of an hour later, the iron-backed bear king stopped moving. It had been bled to death by Night Sorrow while it was still alive. Then, Night Sorrow cut open the iron-backed bear's stomach, skinned it, and took out its gallbladder. He then chopped off the iron-backed bear's limbs and put them into his storage belt. Only then did he return to Tianyu's back. You are too cruel. I won't come with you next time. Imochen said. After seeing Night Sorrow kill the iron-backed bear, Imochen had a new idea. He wouldn't come with Night Sorrow in the future and would secretly protect him. Alright, let's find a place to rest for the night. We will return to Danding City tomorrow. Night Sorrow said. He didn't want to trouble Imochen. After resting for the night, Night Sorrow and Imochen brought Huang Yu back to Danding City. Imochen took the beast carriage back to the inn directly. Night Sorrow brought Huang Yu to submit the mission. After all, submitting the mission required the mission item. It wasn't something that could be completed easily. Huang Yu was the key to this mission. Huang Yu's family received the notification and took Huang Yu back. They also gave Night Sorrow 1,000 taels of gold as a reward. Is the mission on hand done? Si Kong looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Chapter 67. There are 2 more, but they aren't that difficult. I'll finish them in 2 or 3 days. Night Sorrow said to Si Kong. He had a good impression of Si Kong. Not only was she beautiful, but she also didn't put on airs. In addition, when he had a conflict with Ao Lai at the entrance of Tianji Tower, Si Kong had shown him kindness. Once you're done, go and rest. There won't be any good missions for the next half a month if there aren't any special circumstances. Si Kong said with a smile. Looking at the smiling Si Kong, Yi Shang was a little distracted. The main reason was that Si Kong was too beautiful, so beautiful that Yi Shang was a little dazed. What are you thinking about? Si Kong looked at the distracted Night Sorrow and waved her hand in front of Night Sorrow's eyes. Nothing. I'm just curious why your family gave you such a name. Girls rarely have such names. Night Sorrow changed the topic. You know my name? That shouldn't be. Si Kong looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Didn't you say that your name is Si Kong? Night Sorrow was also puzzled. Si Kong had said her name when she introduced herself. How could she forget? Hee, Si Kong is my surname, not my name. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Si Kong understood that Night Sorrow treated her surname as her name. I see. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. He also felt that a beauty like Si Kong shouldn't have an ordinary name. My name is Si Kong Chuyu. Si Kong Chuyu said with a smile. What a beautiful name. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Your name is not bad. Si Kong Chuyu poured himself a cup of tea and said. Is my name good? I'm an orphan. My family died, so my name is Night Sorrow. Thank you for the tea, Lord Si Kong. I'll take my leave now. Night Sorrow took a deep breath and then stood up. Looking at Night Sorrow's back, Si Kong Chuyu called Enforcer Dong. Send someone to investigate Night Sorrow's background. Remember, don't be hostile. After returning to the inn, Night Sorrow took out 2 bare legs, one for Zhang Dekhang and the other for his and Mo Chen's dinner. Did you turn in the quest smoothly? Mo Chen asked as he approached Night Sorrow. It's just that handing in Huang Yu's quest is a bit troublesome. His family is asking all sorts of questions, Night Sorrow said. It's inevitable. If a woman falls into a bandit's lair, even if she's rescued, she'll still be in trouble. You've been running back and forth these past few days, and you've also experienced a few battles. You should rest for a few days and improve your cultivation, Chen said. Genuine F first release W, alright, senior brother. I know there are people with the surname C. Is there anyone with the surname Sikong? Night Sorrow asked. You're talking about the woman in Tianji Tower whose cultivation even I can't see through? Chen asked. He had a deep impression of Sikong Chuyu. Not only was she a natural beauty, she had the aura of a superior, and her cultivation was also ridiculously high. Yes, that's her surname, not her name, Night Sorrow said. How do you know? Chen asked curiously. Her name is Sikong Chuyu. Night Sorrow said Sikong's name. Good name. I've never heard of the surname Sikong. It's very strange that she would take the initiative to tell you her name. If you weren't so young, I would have thought she was interested in you. 13, hurry up and grow up. Chen said with a smile. Night Sorrow shook his head and went back to cultivate. He wanted to reach the Yuan gathering realm as soon as possible. Also, he wasn't far from the 7th layer of the blood refining realm with the myriad Dao Tome. After cultivating for 2 days, Night Sorrow went to do missions. This time, Chen told Night Sorrow that he wouldn't follow, but in reality, he had been following Night Sorrow from a distance. After 3.5 days, Night Sorrow finished the last 2 missions and returned to Danding City. After handing in the missions, Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu chatted. Sikong, how do you exchange for the Yuan increasing pill in Tianji Tower? Why? You want to exchange for the Yuan increasing pill? Yes, the price isn't high, but I have a suggestion. Would you like to hear it? Sikong looked at Night Sorrow and poured a cup of tea for Night Sorrow. Of course I'll listen to Sikong's suggestion. Night Sorrow nodded at Sikong Chuyu. You already have more than half of the points for the Black Iron token. You've reached 2/3. If you have the Qing Tong token, then the points you need to exchange for the Yuan increasing pill will be reduced by 1/4. You're currently at the 9th level of the Qi refining realm. Before you reach the initial Yuan gathering realm, you won't need the Yuan increasing pill. During this time, you can raise the mission sign. Sikong Chuyu gave his suggestion. Sikong's suggestion is very good. I'll exchange for 3 Yuan increasing pills. This will save me a lot of points. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. 3 is a bit too much. In theory, it's not a problem to eat 3, but it's not a good thing to increase your cultivation too quickly. Just exchange for 1 or 2. Don't reach the limit. Sikong Chuyu shook his head when he heard that Night Sorrow wanted to exchange for 3. Okay, I understand. Thank you, Sikong. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Sikong Chuyu. Just call me Sikong. Don't be too polite. Remember to come early at the beginning of the month and complete more missions. It'll be much easier for you to get the bronze token. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. He knew that Night Sorrow had already completed all the missions he had accepted. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Sikong Chuyu again and left. This little guy is a talent. Enforcer Dong walked to Sikong Chuyu's side. Of course. If there are no accidents, the name Night Sorrow will resound throughout the Eastern Xian domain in a few years. Sikong Chuyu said. The results are out. Take a look, Sikong. Enforcer Dong handed a treatment book to Sikong Chuyu. Bone age, 14. Orphan. He was raised by the village chief of Zhuyuan village near South Sky City. A few months ago, he was a hunter with no cultivation. He should be the most outstanding hunter in Zhuyuan village. Enforcer Dong gave the information to Sikong Chuyu and introduced the contents of the information. From no cultivation to the 9th level of Qi refining in 4 months. Even with abundant resources, this speed is outrageous. His blood and Qi are vigorous, and his body is very strong. Even if he doesn't use true Qi, he can still kill opponents of the same level. The most important point is his fighting talent. From his battle at the gate that day and the corpses of the bloodthirsty Wolf King and the Ironback Bear King, it seems that he was born for fighting. Sikong Chuyu said. Medicine Valley has found a treasure. By the way, when will you go back, Sikong? Enforcer Dong asked. Go back? Why should I go back? Listen to the family's arrangements and do what I don't like? A layer of frost appeared on Sikong Chuyu's face. But Sikong, you can't hide for long like this. Enforcer Dong said. It doesn't matter. This is the family's current thinking. My father and mother know that I came out. They didn't stop me. I will prove my value. As long as I break through, the family won't say anything. Sikong Chuyu said. Chapter 68. After returning to the inn, Knight Sorrow began to cultivate. He planned to cultivate the myriad Dao Tome to the 7th layer first. Knight Sorrow's true energy had just advanced, so it would take some time for him to break through to the Yuan gathering stage. However, his myriad Dao Tome had reached the 6th layer for a long time and had already reached the peak of the 6th layer. Knight Sorrow felt that a breakthrough would happen soon. Without any missions to do, Knight Sorrow ate the spirit congealing pill and blood essence pill to cultivate at night. During the day, he cultivated the chasing wind spear art and suppressing mountain hand. Fortunately, Zhang Dekhang had arranged a separate room for Knight Sorrow and Mo Chen. Otherwise, it would have caused a shock. As for the spirit congealing pill and blood essence pill, Knight Sorrow did not have any concerns. He had checked Feng Chen's alchemy manual. Continuous use of auxiliary pills only had pill poison, but it would not cause problems with energy instability. Knight Sorrow had already cultivated 18 waves of oscillating energy. It was almost 3 waves of true energy every time he advanced. After cultivating the chasing wind spear art once again, he glanced at the dishes Zhang Dekhang brought over. Knight Sorrow nodded to Mo Chen and went to take a bath. Zhang Dekhang already knew Knight Sorrow's cultivation time. After Knight Sorrow finished cultivating, Zhang Dekhang would send servants to bring over food, but not wine. He knew that Knight Sorrow and Mo Chen would drink the wine he brought. After taking a bath, Knight Sorrow put on a linen robe and came to the table, sitting opposite Mo Chen. 13. This outfit might look old-fashioned on other people. It might not look elegant. However, on you, it looks very natural and refined, Mo Chen said with a smile. Senior brother, don't joke with me. What do we drink today? The azure blood wine is enough for the 2 of us to drink once, Knight Sorrow said. Then let's drink with Uncle Nyo. That's wine for men, Mo Chen said. You mean my azure blood wine is not for men to drink? Then don't drink it in the future. Aoi appeared in front of the 2. 6th senior sister. Knight Sorrow stood up and greeted Aoi. 6th senior sister, that's not what I meant. Mo Chen hurriedly explained when he saw Aoi. It doesn't matter whether it is or not. 13, senior sister brought you some wine. Qing Ji took out a purple clay jug and handed it to Yishang. Thank you, 6th senior sister. Knight Sorrow said as he put away the wine jar. He knew that this was the jar used to store the azure blood wine. The first 4 shots of the original P version, 6th senior sister, you're too biased. Seeing that Knight Sorrow had the azure blood brew while he didn't, Mo Chen immediately became anxious. Aoi glared at Mo Chen and said, what's the rush? Are you going to talk behind my back again? I don't dare. I really didn't. Mo Chen felt very innocent and didn't say anything. Okay, I'll stop joking with you guys. 13, who did you offend? Our Taishian Peak disciples outside received news that someone hired assassins to kill you. Master told me to come and take a look. Aoi said. Damn it. It can't be anyone other than Ao Yushan. That bastard even dares to do this. Mo Chen said angrily. What happened? Aoi frowned and asked. She knew that Knight Sorrow and Mo Chen must have had a conflict with Ao Yushan recently. Knight Sorrow didn't need to say anything. Mo Chen told her the cause of the matter. Aoi's face was as cold as ice. She paced back and forth in thought. Go straight to him. He won't admit it without evidence. If we just let him do whatever he wants, it's not the style of our Taishan peak. 11. Continue to accompany 13 on missions. You guys don't have to worry about this anymore. I'll make him regret it. Aoi made a decision after thinking for a while. 6th senior sister, what do you plan to do? Mo Chen asked. Isn't he playing dirty? Then we'll play along with him. I'll call old 8 and old 9. The AO family won't be able to rest in peace. We can play dirty too. Let's see who's more ruthless. Aoi said coldly. This month's Black Iron missions were done poorly by 13. He'll stay here and cultivate. I'll accompany you guys to mess with them. Mo Chen said. Okay. 13 will stay here and cultivate. We'll take care of this old thing. Aoi knew Mo Chen's character. She didn't object. Even if she did, it would be useless. Mo Chen's pursuit of Luo Sihai for more than 10 years was a good example. Yishang originally wanted to stop Ao Yushan, but after thinking that he couldn't stop Ao Yushan, he didn't say anything. Ao Yushan wasn't just targeting him, he was also slapping Tai Xian Peak's face. Qing Ji and the others couldn't tolerate this. Aoi, Night Sorrow, and Mo Chen ate something and left. She was going to call Yang Lei and Shi Tianlin. Yu Yang Yu took this matter very seriously. How could he not be angry when someone hired an assassin to kill his disciple? Taishan Peak had more than 40 official second-generation disciples. Compared to the other peaks, it was a small number. However, they were all strong. A while ago, when Tai Tsang's disciple went out to look for herbs, he heard about this from a friend. He immediately stopped looking for herbs and returned to Taishan Peak to report. Senior brother, this matter won't involve too many people, right? Night Sorrow was still a little worried. It's nothing. Ao Yushan's family business isn't small. He's the junior brother of Yuan Tai, the peak master of Wangyun Peak. He's not very talented. He just relied on time to get to where he is. There are many ways to deal with him. Cut off his source of income, cripple a few of his juniors, set fire to his house, and he'll be honest. Mo Chen took a sip of wine and said. Won't he report it to the sect? Probably not. Night Sorrow understood after asking. Ao Yushan wouldn't report it to the sect. Firstly, there was no evidence. Secondly, he knew what was going on. Once the truth was out, the Taishan Peak would be furious. Even 10 Ao Yushan wouldn't be enough. Smart. Let the senior brothers and sisters handle this. You just focus on your cultivation and try to enter the Yuan gathering level as soon as possible. Mo Chen said to Night Sorrow. After finishing the wine, Night Sorrow went to cultivate. He believed that Aoi and the others would handle this matter well. There was nothing to worry about. Aoi and the others were not to be trifled with. Ao Yushan should be the one suffering. In the following days, Night Sorrow worked hard on his cultivation. He didn't know that the Danding city was about to be turned upside down. The city lord's caravan was robbed. Ao Kachang, who was escorting the caravan, had his legs broken. The Ao clan's medicine store was smashed. The city lord Ao Yushan's grandson, Ao Bing, offended someone when he was drinking. His teeth were knocked out, and he didn't even see who did it. Things happened one after another. Some people could tell that someone was targeting the city lord Ao Yushan. When Ao Lai was carried back, Ao Yushan smashed the table with his palm. Ao Lai was crippled, and he could no longer be a man. Big brother, we've offended someone we shouldn't have. Could it be the Taishan Peak? Ao Yukuan looked at his brother and said. He was the vice city lord of Danding City. He could tell that if they didn't deal with this, the Ao clan wouldn't be able to survive in Danding City. He also knew that Ao Yushan wanted to kill Night Sorrow. Hua Wuji, was it leaked? Ao Yushan looked at his trusted aide, Hua Wuji. I can't say for sure. Recently, I've contacted a few groups of assassins. They didn't accept the mission. I can't be sure if one of them leaked it. Hua Wuji bowed and said. Chapter 69. Now they know that we can't make a fuss, so they are doing this. If we don't do anything, the situation will become more and more passive, Oyukuin said. I understand. The key is how to resolve this situation. Since Tai Xian Peak has made a move, it means that they know that we are looking for assassins. They will not give up easily. Ao Yushan wished he could cut down Ao Lai, who was lying there and screaming. Ao Yukuin looked at Ao Lai and was very angry. If he hadn't provoked someone he shouldn't have, this wouldn't have happened. Bear with it for now. Tell everyone in the family not to go out. Tell the caravans and medicine shops to stop doing business first. Maybe they will calm down when they see that we admit defeat. Ao Yushan could only think of this solution. However, things were not over yet. Overnight, the medicine warehouse of the Ao family was set on fire and all the tamed animals in the training ground were killed. This caused the Ao family to suffer a great loss. It could be said that they suffered a great loss. Ao Yushan's eyes turned blue when he heard the news in the city lord's office. In the end, he decided to ask his master for help. His master was the elder of Medicine Valley. Medicine Valley was divided into 12 peaks. Each peak had its own master, elders, and guardians. Medicine Valley also had the elders and guardians who were in charge of the 12 peaks. The elders of Medicine Valley were superior to the masters and elders of each peak. Positive, version ahead (m kg). There were 2 ways to produce a master of each peak. One was to be a disciple of the master of the peak. The other was to be a master of Medicine Valley who was outstanding. Ao Yushan and Yuan Tai were both disciples of Lu Qinyun, the 4th elder of Medicine Valley. Now that Ao Yushan couldn't control the situation, he could only explain the situation to his master and ask for help from Medicine Valley to stop Taishan Peak. Ao Yushan told Lu Qinyun about the situation at the back of Danding Peak in Medicine Valley. What a good for nothing. You're still looking for assassins. You're shooting yourself in the foot. They didn't follow the rules in Danding City. You couldn't suppress them, so you came back to find people to deal with them. What is this? Do you think Yu Yangyu is easy to talk to? Lu Qinyun was furious after hearing Yu Yangyu's report. He knew that it was hard to talk to Yu Yangyu, especially when it came to his disciples. That was his reverse scale. The incident with Guanyi was an example. At that time, Yu Yangyu didn't give face to anyone. Lu Qinyun's seniority was higher than Yu Yangyu's, but his strength was not as good as Yu Yangyu's. Using the power of the sect to suppress Yu Yangyu was useless. Not to mention that Yu Yangyu had a good relationship with the Great Elder and the Valley Master. Yu Yangyu also had a master. Knight Sorrow didn't know about this. He was in the middle of breaking through to the 7th level of the blood refining realm. To break through to the 6th level of the blood refining realm, one needed to open the dragon tendons in the 4 limbs. To break through to the 7th level, one needed to open the small tendons in the hands and feet to strengthen the body. The hands and feet took up very little space in the body, but they were the most important places to attack in battle. Furthermore, the tendons were the most abundant. Knight Sorrow's dragon tendons, neck, and 4 limbs were all filled with energy. Now he had enough energy to continue developing his body. He was developing his hands and feet. This time, the one helping Knight Sorrow was Tianyu. Mo Chen, Aoi, Yang Lei, and Shi Tianlin were dealing with Ao Yushan. As the myriad Dao Tomes energy surged, the tendons in Knight Sorrow's hands were opened one by one. At this moment, Knight Sorrow only felt one thing: pain. As the saying goes, the 10 fingers are connected to the heart. The energy surging through the tendons in the hands and feet brought Knight Sorrow too much pain. After using 6 hours to open the tendons in his hands and feet, Knight Sorrow's entire body was soaked with sweat. Even his hair was stuck to his face. After successfully breaking through, Night Sorrow stretched out his hands and clenched his fists. Immediately, cracking sounds came from his hands. Night Sorrow knew that the strength in his hands had increased by a lot. After leaving the room, Night Sorrow saw his 2 senior sisters, 8th senior brother Shi Tianlin, and 11th senior brother drinking tea in the courtyard. I'm going to take a bath first. Night Sorrow finished speaking and went to take a bath. What the hell is 13 cultivating? Why is he so miserable? Shi Tianlin frowned as he watched Night Sorrow go to take a bath. If Master hears this, he'll definitely beat you up. Can't you see that his blood chi has increased by a lot? Aoi looked at Shi Tianlin and said. That's because he's cultivating a special technique. This will delay his cultivation of true chi, Shi Tianlin said. 8th senior brother, 13's cultivation is now at chi refining stage 9. How long has it been since he entered the sect? How is it delayed? Yang Lei said with a smile. Yeah, no matter how fast he is, his foundation will be unstable. Shi Tianlin nodded. Senior brothers, senior sisters. After taking a bath, Night Sorrow came over to greet them. You've grown a lot taller. How's your cultivation? Yang Lei asked after pouring a cup of tea for Night Sorrow. Thank you for your concern, 9th senior sister. Everything's going well. How about you guys? How's everything going? Night Sorrow asked. Of course it's going well. That old dog is pissed off now. Our people noticed that he went to Pill Cauldron Mountain. He's probably looking for the sect to settle it, Yang Lei said with a smile. I don't know how the sect will deal with this. They'll probably stop us, right? Mo Chen said. Right now, we need to think about how to compensate him. If he can't give us a satisfactory compensation, then he'll continue to torture us, Aoi said. Senior brothers, senior sisters, be careful. Don't push him too far. Night Sorrow was a little worried. 13, don't worry. If he has the strength to attack us, he won't go to the sect, Shi Tianlin said with a smile. As they chatted, Night Sorrow took out 2 bare legs from his storage belt and had Zhang Dekang prepare them. 13, pay more attention to actual combat. I heard that each peak has outstanding outer disciples participating in this year's competition. Their target is our Taishian Peak's 13 newcomers. Currently, our 13 newcomers aren't too far behind in cultivation, but their actual combat ability still needs to be tested. The only ones who can truly fight are Ma Zhuang, Tang Tian, and Chu Ning. But if we want to take first place in the competition, we'll still have to rely on you, Yang Lei said. I'll do my best. Night Sorrow nodded. After chatting with Night Sorrow for a while, they left to continue looking for opportunities to deal with Ao Yushan. After chatting with Night Sorrow for a while, they left to continue looking for opportunities to deal with Ao Yushan. On the other hand, Night Sorrow had to adapt to his 7th level blood refinement realm strength as quickly as possible. It was almost the beginning of the month and he had to fight for missions. He cultivated steadily for 2 days. While increasing his chi cultivation, he also stabilized his 7th level blood refinement realm cultivation. Early in the morning, Danding City was very quiet. Night Sorrow arrived at Tianji Tower early. When he arrived, Tianji Tower was still closed, so he waited for a while. The moment Tianji Tower opened, Night Sorrow entered Tianji Tower. As soon as Yi Sheng entered the Empyrean Terminus Tower, he saw Sikong Chuyu, who was wearing a light blue robe and a veil, walking down the stairs. Behind her were Enforcer Dong and 2 managers of the Empyrean Terminus Tower. You're here. Sikong Chuyu greeted Night Sorrow with a smile. Night Sorrow nodded. I'm here to accept a mission. Chapter 70. After receiving the mission list from Sikong Chuyu, Night Sorrow didn't even bother to drink the tea that the waiter had brought him. He started to list the missions. This one, and this one. Night Sorrow accepted 15 missions in one go. It could be said that he had accepted all the Black Iron missions that didn't waste his energy and had high points. Send them to Enforcer Dong. After helping Night Sorrow organize the missions, Sikong Chuyu handed the mission list to the waiter. Thank you very much. Night Sorrow knew that the Sikong Chuyu's help was a big reason why he was able to accept the missions so easily. It's nothing. After you finish this mission, you will probably be able to enter the Bronze Order level. There's no need to rush now. Take your time and drink your tea. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. You look so beautiful when you smile. Night Sorrow took a sip of tea and said. This came from his heart, so it didn't sound fake. Instead, it sounded very sincere. Do you often say this to girls? Sikong Chuyu looked into Night Sorrow's eyes and asked. I only know 2 senior sisters. The other one is my 3rd senior brother's disciple. Sorry for being rude. At this moment, Night Sorrow felt that what he had said just now might have been inappropriate. He immediately stood up and apologized. Latest chapter Unspecified Currency Section 2 Supra 3U, sit down. I know you don't mean anything else. You just said whatever comes to your mind. It's very sincere. By the way, you have a mission to collect purple gold ore, right? Sikong Chuyu asked. Yes. The mission location is a little far. Even if I have a flying demon beast, it will take me 2 days to get there. Night Sorrow nodded. Purple gold ore was a rare material for refining weapons. Now that Danding City was in short supply, someone had issued this mission. I have a mission to hunt down a purple gold lizard. When are you going? Give me a shout, Sikong Chuyu said. Alright, then I'll finish all the quests that have a time limit and come look for you. Night Sorrow nodded. When Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu came out of the private room, the lobby of Tianji Tower was bustling again. Many of them were disciples of the Medicine Valley, including Qin Zhan, Qin Hai, and Kong Jun. There were also disciples of the Wangyun Peak. In addition, Night Sorrow also saw the Enlightenment who helped him in the Grass Valley. Thank you for your help last time, Senior Enlightenment. Night Sorrow greeted Enlightenment. Don't. There's a difference in seniority. I'm a 3rd-generation disciple of Danding Peak. You're my junior master. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Enlightenment hurriedly waved his hand. In Medicine Valley, seniority was very important. If word got out that Night Sorrow called him senior brother, there would be a big problem. Is that so? I didn't know. Are you here for a mission too? Night Sorrow asked. That's right. I've brought a few outer sect disciples of Danding Peak here to pick up some missions to train them up. I wonder which B** starred took all the good missions away. Qi Ming said angrily. Night Sorrow was depressed. How did he become a bastard just because he accepted some missions? What I want to say is that Night Sorrow accepted quite a number of missions. Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow's troubled face and said. Junior Master, I don't mean anything else. I don't mean to scold you. Hearing Sikong Chuyu's words, Qiming froze for a moment, and his face immediately turned green. This problem could be big or small. If the horny students of Tai Xian Peak knew about it, then their days would not be easy. I know. It's okay. Let's drink together when we have time. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Although he was depressed, he knew that enlightenment did not mean it. Besides, he still owed enlightenment a favor. Why would he care about this? That's good. Go ahead, Junior Master. Qiming saw that Yishang was not fussing, so he thought even more highly of Yishang. These days, there were too many second-generation masters. It was common for them to flaunt their prowess by relying on their father's or master's reputation, but Yishang was still calm. After exiting the gates of the Celestial Terminus Tower, Yishang turned around and waved at Sikong Chuyu. Then, he got on the beast carriage and headed towards the city gate. There were a few missions that had a time limit, so he had to hurry up and complete them. While Night Sorrow was doing his mission, the first elder and the fourth elder of Medicine Valley, Lu Qinyun, took Ao Yushan to Jingxin Cliff of Taishan Peak. Jingxin Cliff was where Yu Yangyu lived. When the three of them arrived at Jingxin Cliff, Nan Nan and Gong Xian were asking Yu Yangyu some questions about cultivation. First elder and fourth elder are here. Please take a seat. Yu Yangyu cupped his hands at the first elder who was holding a walking stick. Your place is much quieter. The first elder smiled and sat down. Yangyu, I've brought my good-for-nothing disciple here to apologize to you, Lu Chunyun said. Yu Yangyu lowered his head and took a sip of tea. He did not say anything. Yangyu, this matter needs to be resolved. The fourth elder also just found out about it. Didn't he come here immediately? The first elder said when he saw the awkward silence. Then I won't beat around the bush. Ao Yushan, how dare you hire assassins to deal with my disciple? If anything happens to my disciple, I'll wipe out your entire family. Yu Yangyu waved his sleeve and slapped Ao Yushan, causing him to stagger. I was confused. Ao Yushan did not dare to show any dissatisfaction. You dare to touch my junior brother? I'll kill you. Gong Xian, who did not know about this matter, stood up with a murderous look on his face. Calm down. Yu Yangyu stopped Gong Xian. Yangyu, Yushan is in the wrong. Now that the Ao family has suffered heavy losses, let's see how we can settle this. Lu Chunyun said. First elder, what do you think? Yu Yangyu looked at the first elder and asked. I'm just a middleman for you. Let's sit down and settle this matter. It's up to you how you want to settle it. The first elder shook his head. I'm willing to compensate. Tell them to stop messing around, Ao Yushan said with a bitter face. How? If there are people who secretly deal with my Taishan Peak's disciples in the future and ask for compensation after being discovered, how can this matter be settled? Yu Yangyu snorted coldly. Yangyu, I'll vouch for him this time. If he still holds a grudge and does anything else, I'll kill him myself, Lu Chunyun said. I'll give face to the fourth elder and the first elder. Tell me your compensation. Yu Yangyu said. I'll give you 30 upper-grade spirit stones and a courtyard in the Longquan Mountain, Ao Yushan said. Lu Chunyun really wanted to slap Ao Yushan. Yu Yangyu said that he would give face to him and the first elder, so he only needed to compensate them appropriately. Now that he had to compensate them with 30 upper-grade spirit stones and a courtyard in the Longquan Mountain, his heart ached. 30 upper-grade spirit stones were all the Ao family had. The fourth elder only had this much. As for the courtyard in the Longquan Mountain Villa, it was even more precious. There were two scenic spots around Danding City. One was the Green Stone Forest, and the other was the Longquan Mountain. At the foot of the Longquan Mountain was the Skywater Lake. The Longquan Mountain Villa only had one courtyard, which was the property of the Ao family. This courtyard was precious not only because of the land, but also because it was located in a natural formation. It could absorb the water spirit chi of the Skywater Lake, which could calm people's mind. Then let's do it. Gong Xian, you go and receive it and give it to 13, Yu Yangyu said. Chapter 71. Lu Chunyun and Ao Yushan's expressions changed. Great Elder, it's not that serious, is it? Lu Chunyun asked. This is an order from the Grand Elder Council. There are some things that you don't need to know. Also, let me tell you, Yishan has my medallion on him right now. Nothing happened to him, but if something did happen, The Grand Elder harumphed twice, then stood up and left. Look at what you've done. Lu Chunyun glared at Ao Yushan and left without caring about it. Alright, Gong Xian, follow him and complete the task. Yu Yangyu waved to Gong Xian and Ao Yushan. Ao Yushan, who walked down Taishan Peak, was still in shock. He knew that he had asked for peace, or the consequences would be very serious. This time, Knight Sorrow completed all 5 missions with a time limit before returning to the Celestial Terminus Tower. Sikong Chuyu was not there. Knight Sorrow handed in the tasks to the ordinary staff and returned to the inn. In the inn, Knight Sorrow saw Aoi, Yang Lei, and Mo Chen. To his surprise, Gong Xian was also there. Little 13, you're back. How are the tasks? Gong Xian asked with a smile. I've completed all the time-limited tasks. The rest can be done slowly. Why are you here, great senior brother? Night Sorrow sat down and asked. To give you something good. Ao Yushan gave in and gave you 30 high-grade spirit stones. I'm so jealous. Gong Xian handed a bag of spirit stones to Night Sorrow. I don't want this. Great senior brother, you can take it and distribute it to the senior brothers and sisters. Night Sorrow pushed the bag of spirit stones back to Gong Xian. This is what you should take. Gong Xian shook his head. I need spirit stones. I'll work hard. These are what you guys fought for. I don't want them. Night Sorrow shook his head. Gong Xian and Yang Lei looked at each other, not knowing what to do. Alright, your two senior brothers and senior sister have also worried a lot during this period of time. Old Sixth, you guys take it and divide it. Gong Xian handed the bag of spirit stones to Qing Ji. How can we do that? 13, you can take it. It's all for senior brothers and sisters. Don't mind it. Aoi said. Sixth senior sister, I really don't need it now. You guys can have it. Night Sorrow said. Us senior brothers and senior sisters will face difficulties together. If there is wine and meat, we will eat together. Each of us will get 2 pieces and give the rest to Master. Aoi made her decision. She opened the bag, took out 2 spirit stones, and pushed them in front of Night Sorrow. This time, Night Sorrow didn't refuse. He also took 2 spirit stones. Aoi's words were reasonable. If he didn't take it, it meant that he didn't agree. Yang Lei and Shi Tianlin each took 2 spirit stones. Then, they passed the bag to Gong Xian. We'll divide the spirit stones like this. There's also a compensation. 13, come with me to receive it later. Gong Xian said. Receive what? Night Sorrow took a sip of tea and asked. There are 2 compensation. One is spirit stones, and the other is a villa. You don't have to stay in the inn in Danding City anymore. Let's go now. Gong Xian stood up and said. Dekhang, arrange 2 servants to help 13 look after the villa. Mo Chen said to Zhang Dekhang when they left the inn. After finding 2 beast carriages, the group took the 2 servants arranged by Zhang Dekhang and walked towards the south gate of Danding City. After exiting the city gate, it took an hour for the group to reach the lakeside of Skywater Lake. They arrived at a very simple manor. When they arrived at the entrance of the manor, a steward appeared. Excuse me, are you from Tai Xian Peak? Is Master Night here? I am Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took 2 steps forward and said. The city lord said that if Master Night is here, we can leave. This is the deed. The old butler handed a brocade box to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow opened the brocade box and saw that it was the deed for the villa. It also included the ownership of the surrounding 30 miles. In other words, this area was private property. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. The old butler bowed to Night Sorrow and the others and left with a few servants. 13, this will be your territory from now on. Xiao Liuzi, you guys go and tidy up. Mo Chen shouted to one of the servants sent by Zhang Dekhang. This person had been serving him and Night Sorrow for a long time and was quite familiar with him. Okay. Xiao Liuzi ran in and opened the door. 11, you have a sense of accomplishment when you call him Xiao Liuzi. Aoi squinted at Mo Chen. Gosh. 6th senior sister, don't think too much. I didn't mean it. Hearing Aoi's words, Mo Chen slapped his forehead. He knew that he shouldn't call him Xiao Liuzi in the future. The villa was very grand. Not to mention the surrounding pavilions, the 3-story main building was very grand. There were wood and stone carvings in the hall. These decorations are expensive. Why didn't they take them away? Yang Lei sat on an armchair and said, He's trying to be friendly. He knows that if we can't take this lying down, we won't let him off. Gong Xian also sat down. Entering this villa gives me a refreshing feeling. Night Sorrow took a deep breath and said. Yang Lei and Night Sorrow strolled back and forth in the hall, looking at the villa. Gong Xian talked about the most precious parts of the villa and the natural formation. Look at 6th edition Chapter 1. No wonder 13 said that he felt relaxed and happy. I also feel that my mind is clear, Qing Ji said. Eldest senior brother, look. Night Sorrow took out the brocade box. Stop. I know what you want to say. There's no need for so many things between us brothers. Just take it. This was arranged by First Elder and Master. Gong Xian directly interrupted Night Sorrow. He knew that Night Sorrow didn't want it, so he quickly covered Night Sorrow's mouth. 13, just stay. Don't make things difficult for our senior brother. Besides, our senior brothers and sisters have their own strongholds in the future, right? Mo Chen said. All right then. Night Sorrow didn't refuse. Go get us something to eat. We want to have a drink. Mo Chen called out to Little Six. He didn't dare to call out to Little Six because he was afraid that Aoi would punish him. Taishan Peak disciples had an order of seniority. The younger ones would always listen to the older ones, even if they were wrong. This was Yu Yang Yu's rule. Therefore, Mo Chen and Shi Tianlin didn't refute Aoi and Yang Lei's words. 13. Leave a pavilion for 9th senior sister. She'll be in seclusion soon, Yang Lei said to Night Sorrow. Of course, we definitely will. There are so many pavilions here. Senior brothers and sisters will all have a place, said Yishang. While Little Six was preparing to eat, Night Sorrow and the others strolled back and forth in the villa, looking at it. They're all precious trees. The rockery is made of black jade. The pond is made of green jade. The AO family is really powerful, Mo Chen said with some emotion in the garden in front of the villa. You don't know. This was passed down from the ancestors of the AO family for who knows how many years. Therefore, the AO family suffered a great loss this time, Gong Xian said. Chapter 72. There were odd job workers and maidservants in secluded forest cottage. Odd job workers were registered in the Medicine Valley, but maidservants were not. Maidservants belonged to individuals. The maidservants in secluded forest cottage were rescued by Qing Ji when she was out training. Senior sister, am I that kind of person? Night Sorrow said with a wry smile. I'm not saying you're that kind of person. I just have to remind you of something, Aoi said with a smile. Actually, your 6th senior sister is right. Many women are more scheming. Someone like you is their goal to change their life and destiny, Gong Xian said. I understand, Night Sorrow nodded. After eating and staying for a while, Gong Xian, Aoi, and Shi Tianlin left. Yang Lei was going to cultivate in seclusion at Night Sorrow's place. Mo Chen had nothing else to do, so he planned to watch over Night Sorrow for a while longer. Yang Lei chose a loft near Skywater Lake and let out her blue condor. Mo Chen also chose a place near the main building. Night Sorrow arranged for Tianyu to stay in the area next to the main building. After that, Night Sorrow left some gold notes for Little Six to buy some demon corpses to feed his, Aoi's, and Mo Chen's flying beasts. He also wanted to buy a beast carriage. After explaining everything, Yishang went to cultivate. After settling down for 2 days, Night Sorrow took the beast carriage to Tianji Tower. He told the staff that he wanted to see Sikong Chuyu because he was going to do the purple gold mine mission. After Night Sorrow drank a cup of tea, Sikong Chuyu, who was wearing a long robe and a veil, came to the private room. You're here. Are you going to do the purple gold mine mission? Sikong Chuyu pulled the veil and sat down. That's right. I've already finished the missions with a tight time limit. I was afraid that you'd be anxious, so I wanted to do the purple gold mine first, Night Sorrow said. Okay, is there anything else you need to prepare? Sikong Chuyu asked. No, what about you? Night Sorrow asked. There's nothing much to prepare. Let's go. Sikong Chuyu stood up and said. Once they were out of Tianji Tower, the two of them hailed a beast carriage and headed out of Danding City. What compensation did Ao Yushan give you this time? Sitting in the beast carriage, Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow with a smile. 30 spirit stones and a courtyard. How did you know? After answering, Night Sorrow asked in astonishment. You don't know much about Tianji Tower. You can tell them some things. As long as Tianji Tower wants to know, they'll know, Sikong Chuyu said. Night Sorrow moved his body. He was sitting face to face with Sikong Chuyu. Sikong Chuyu's breath made him feel uneasy. What's wrong with you? There's no need to reject me. I don't mean any harm, Sikong Chuyu explained. She saw Night Sorrow move his body and thought Night Sorrow was rejecting her. I know. Night Sorrow took a deep breath and calmed himself down. Don't think too much about it. The Empyrean Extreme Tower has issued all kinds of missions, so the Empyrean Extreme Tower in various places are aware of the movements of various forces. However, none of them are hostile, Sikong Chuyu said. I understand. Yi Shang nodded and didn't say anything else. Seeing that Yi Shang didn't speak, Sikong Chuyu also didn't continue to speak. She felt that Yi Shang was a bit strange. Although he said he was rejecting her, he wasn't rejecting her, but his situation was clearly different from before. After leaving Danding City, Sikong Chuyu paid the fare. Where's your flying tamed beast? Sikong Chuyu asked Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded and let Tianyu out. After exiting the tamed beast space, Tianyu let out a cry and rubbed his head against Night Sorrow's shoulder. This is an ancient mutant with the bloodline of the ancient Azure Rock and intelligence? Sikong Chuyu asked in surprise. Looking at Tianyu, Sikong Chuyu asked. My master said that he has the bloodline of the ancient Azure Rock and Xuanwan. However, he's still young and his bloodline power hasn't awakened yet, Night Sorrow said as he stroked Tianyu. Your master really treasures you. He got you such a promising beast, Sikong Chuyu said as she looked at Tianyu. No, it was injured a while ago. I brought it back to my place and it followed me. It even saved my life. Night Sorrow reached out and smoothed the feathers on Tianyu's neck. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Sikong Chuyu straightened her body and began to look at Night Sorrow. She now felt that Night Sorrow was even more ridiculous than Tianyu. He could casually pick up a beast with the bloodline of an ancient mutant beast. Wasn't that even more unbelievable? Sikong, do you have a flying beast? Night Sorrow asked. Although I really want to sit on your flying demonic beast, I do have a flying demonic beast. Sikong Chuyu raised her jade arm, and a fiery red flying demonic beast appeared in Yi Shang's field of vision. When the fiery red flying beast appeared, Tianyu stretched out his body and got into an attacking posture. Tianyu. Night Sorrow stood in front of Tianyu. /Moinute, chapter * top, Fire Phoenix. Sikong Chuyu also stood in front of the fiery red flying beast. At this moment, Night Sorrow finally had the time to carefully look at Sikong Chuyu's flying beast. It was a fiery red flying beast that was several times larger than Tianyu's body. It was very similar to the phoenix that Night Sorrow had seen in the Fey catalog. It has the bloodline of an ancient mutant beast, the Fire Phoenix. Because it is female, I call it the Fire Phoenix, Sikong Chuyu said. It is indeed very handsome. Night Sorrow had to nod his head. The Fire Phoenix was now much more impressive than Tianyu. After all, it was in a different stage of growth. However, Tianyu didn't admit defeat and kept staring at the Fire Phoenix with his golden eyes. How about this? Your Tianyu is still young and will be slower. You can ride the Fire Phoenix with me. Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow and said. Sikong, you go first. I will take my time. Night Sorrow understood that following Sikong Chuyu wasn't just on the way. It was completely borrowing her light. It's okay. This is a mining mission. Let's go. Seekong Chuyu could see that Night Sorrow didn't want to trouble her. This made her think even more highly of Night Sorrow. This was a proud character that didn't accept charity. I think it's better not. Night Sorrow shook his head. What's wrong with you? I've waited for a few days, and you're not coming? Aren't we friends? Seekong Chuyu finished speaking and walked to Night Sorrow's side. She grabbed Night Sorrow's arm and floated onto the Fire Phoenix's back. Then, she let the Fire Phoenix fly into the sky. When the Fire Phoenix flew into the sky, Tianyu also flew into the sky. Seekong, Night Sorrow didn't know what to say. Not friends? Seekong had helped him a few times, but he wasn't used to this. Well, it's just a mission together. When we reach the place, you do your thing. I won't help you. Seekong said with a smile. At the same time, she let go of Night Sorrow's arm and moved to the back of the Fire Phoenix's neck. She pulled the veil and sat down. Thank you, Seekong. Night Sorrow also sat down. You idiot, can't you come over here? The wind is so strong over there. Seeing Night Sorrow sit down at the back of the Fire Phoenix, Seekong said with some disappointment. Chapter 73. Looking at Night Sorrow's slightly red face, Seekong Chuyu understood what was going on. Night Sorrow was nervous and embarrassed. Go starter, 0-inch Seekong, how about I put Tianyu away? Your Fire Phoenix is too fast. If Tianyu flies at full speed for too long, it won't be able to withstand it. After flying for a quarter of an hour, Night Sorrow said. Seekong Chuyu nodded and controlled the Fire Phoenix to slow down. Then, he let Night Sorrow put Tianyu back into the beast taming space. In a day's time, Seekong Chuyu and Night Sorrow arrived at the Purple Gold Mountain. After controlling the Fire Phoenix to land, Seekong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow. Let's go hunt the Purple Gold Beast King first. There must be high purity purple gold where it lives. I'll listen to you. Night Sorrow nodded. Okay, then let's go. Seekong Chuyu led the way in front. Seekong, what level is the Purple Gold Beast King? Night Sorrow, who was beside Seekong Chuyu, asked. According to the mission, the Purple Gold Beast King is a rank 4 beast. Seekong Chuyu threw out words that made Night Sorrow dumbfounded. Ah! Night Sorrow was stunned. He had never even seen a rank 3 beast king before. Now, Seekong Chuyu wanted to kill a rank 4 beast king. Hee hee. Why are you so nervous? I'm the one who's going to kill it, not you. Seekong Chuyu said with a smile. I'm not nervous. I'm shocked. I didn't expect Seekong to be so powerful. Night Sorrow knew that Seekong's cultivation was high. The lowest was rank 4 spirit severing stage or above. Mo Chen, who was at the peak of core condensation, couldn't see through her cultivation. When you reach my age, you will be even more powerful than me. Seekong did not reveal his cultivation level. Then Seekong, how old are you this year? Night Sorrow regretted the moment he asked the question. It was a little rude to ask such a question to a woman. You also know that this question is inappropriate? Seeing the change in Yishang's expression, Seekong Chuyu understood Yishang's psychological situation. I'm sorry, Night Sorrow said after a moment of hesitation. Seekong Chuyu smiled and walked up Mount Jijin without another word. The Purple Gold Mountain had a radius of several thousand miles, but there were not many places that produced purple gold. Many people came here to seek for gold, but very few people had any gains. The most common demonic beast on Mount Jijin was the Purple Gold Beast. This demonic beast relied on consuming purple gold to survive. Its level was not high, but its combat power was very strong. High-level cultivators disdained to dig for purple gold, and low-level cultivators could not dig for purple gold, so purple gold was scarce. Do you have a target? Night Sorrow asked when he saw Seekong Chuyu walking forward without hesitation. Yes, I've seen the map. I know where the purple gold beast king is. Sikong Chuyu, who was walking in front, turned around and said. The moment she turned around, Night Sorrow, who was walking behind her, was caught off guard. He bumped into Sikong Chuyu. When Night Sorrow stopped, the two of them were only half a foot apart. Smelling Sikong Chuyu's scent, Night Sorrow hurriedly took a step back. Sikong Chuyu also took a step back. What are you doing? Sikong Chuyu's face turned red. She had never been so close to a man before. How would I know you would stop? Night Sorrow said, feeling wronged. Yes, let's go. It's still early. If possible, let's finish the mission today before resting, Sikong Chuyu said. Sikong Chuyu walked in front, and Night Sorrow followed closely behind. Sikong, since you know the location, why don't you ride the Fire Phoenix directly to the target location? Night Sorrow was confused. You don't understand. The purple gold beast feeds on purple gold, and its body contains purple gold impurities. These impurities are very corrosive. We don't know where the purple gold beast is hiding on Purple Gold Mountain, but if a purple gold beast sprays purple gold impurities at the Fire Phoenix, the Fire Phoenix will be injured, Sikong Chuyu explained to Night Sorrow. However, he did not stop walking. Night Sorrow understood. Riding a flying Yao beast was dangerous. Just as Night Sorrow was thinking about this problem, a long sword appeared in Sikong Chuyu's hand. He swung his sword forward. After the sword light flashed, a light purple Yao beast that was 4 feet long and had sharp claws was cut in half. After killing a purple gold beast with a single sword strike, Sikong Chuyu continued forward. Fast. This sword was too fast. The purple gold beast was very fast, but it was too slow in front of Sikong Chuyu's sword. Night Sorrow took out his reincarnation spear and followed behind Sikong Chuyu. Sikong Chuyu was leading the way, and Night Sorrow's job was to cover the rear. After advancing for about 2 hours, Sikong Chuyu stopped. She twisted her delicate body and looked at Night Sorrow. The purple gold beast king is in the cave up ahead. It's already heading outside. Retreat, don't go forward. Night Sorrow took a few steps back. He knew that this kind of battle wasn't something he could participate in. Holding his long sword, Sikong Chuyu stared ahead. Not good, retreat. Sikong Chuyu's body flashed. She grabbed Night Sorrow's shoulder and flashed away quickly. Night Sorrow turned his head to look. A Yao beast that was more than 1 zhang tall and covered in purple gold scales appeared. It was originally lying on the ground, but after it leaped up, Night Sorrow saw its sharp claws shining with a metallic light. After this Yao beast leaped up, it didn't land on the ground. Instead, it flew directly towards Sikong Chuyu and Night Sorrow. This damned information. The purple gold beast king has reached the peak of rank 4. Hurry up and leave. Sikong Chuyu waved her arm and flung Night Sorrow away. After landing on the ground, Night Sorrow looked up. Sikong Chuyu's body was fluttering in the wind. The long sword in her hand was attacking continuously, fighting with the purple gold beast king in the air. Then, she landed on the ground and soared into the air again. One man and one beast kept attacking each other. No matter if it was a man or a Yao beast, once they reached rank 4, they would be able to fly for a short period of time. Currently, Sikong Chuyu and the purple gold beast king were in this state. The purple gold beast king was suppressing Sikong Chuyu. Its 4 sharp claws and mouth with hooked teeth were constantly attacking Sikong Chuyu. Yao beasts of the same level were stronger than humans. It was normal for a rank 4 purple gold beast king to suppress Sikong Chuyu, who had yet to reach rank 5. If Sikong Chuyu had reached rank 5, she wouldn't have to land on the ground and fly again. She would be able to suppress the purple gold beast king in the air. You can't compare to it in terms of energy. When it comes to fighting on the ground, you have to rely on flexibility. After watching the battle for a while and seeing Sikong Chuyu being suppressed and sent flying, Night Sorrow discovered the crux of the matter. After listening to Night Sorrow's words, Sikong Chuyu landed on the ground and started fighting the purple gold beast king on the ground. Stay away from it. It will spit out impurities. During the battle, Sikong Chuyu did not forget to remind Night Sorrow. She knew that it would be useless to ask Night Sorrow to leave. If Night Sorrow was that kind of person, he would have run away the moment the battle started. What's its weakness? Night Sorrow shouted as she stood on top of a large boulder. The place where the back of its neck connects to its head, Sikong Chuyu shouted as she defended against the purple gold beast king's attacks. This won't do. It's too strong. Come to where I am and circle around the boulder. Look for an opportunity, Night Sorrow said as she leaped to the top of the boulder and crouched down. After listening to Night Sorrow's suggestion, Sikong Chuyu led the purple gold beast king to the side of the boulder. She circled the boulder and fought the purple gold beast king. Why aren't you leaving? What are you doing up there? Sikong Chuyu was surprised to see Night Sorrow crouching on top of the boulder. A rank 1 cultivator was not running away at a time like this. Calling him courageous would be a compliment. Calling him stupid would be more accurate. Chapter 74. Sikong Chuyu, who was fighting, shouted at Night Sorrow as she retreated around the boulder, Night Sorrow, don't do anything rash. This guy is completely different from what the quest described. He's at the peak of Tier 4. I can't kill him. Even leaving is a problem. This guy's speed is too fast. Night Sorrow did not say anything. He knew that Sikong Chuyu was telling the truth. The purple gold beast king would not give Sikong Chuyu the chance to release her fire phoenix and fly away safely. What are you waiting for? Sikong Chuyu roared again. At the same time, she hurriedly dodged. The purple gold beast king, who had not caught up to her after a few rounds, was enraged. It opened its mouth and spat out a dark purple light. Swish! The dark purple light landed on the boulder, creating a black hole in the boulder. Small, honeycomb-like craters appeared all around it. The craters were still deepening. This was the effect of the purple gold beast king's poison. However, after spitting out the poison, the purple gold beast king's speed had decreased. The purple light on its body had also dimmed. It took a while for it to recover. Sikong, while paying attention to your own safety, try to make it go crazy. I noticed that after it spat out the poison, its attack power has decreased. Night Sorrow squatted on the boulder and shouted at Sikong Chuyu. Normally, he could only see 2 shadows. Just now, after the purple gold beast king spat out the poison, he could clearly see the purple gold beast king's body. Okay, don't do anything rash. Sikong Chuyu's voice was somewhat incoherent. Continuous high-intensity movements and high-intensity battles had consumed a lot of her energy. After an hour, the light on the purple gold beast king's body had dimmed. Its speed had also decreased. It had already spat out 7 or 8 mouthfuls of the purple gold beast king's impurities. Its condition was also somewhat dispirited. Sikong Chuyu's situation was not much better. The hand holding the long sword trembled. Her robes were soaked in sweat. Hurry up and leave. I can't hold on any longer. Sikong Chuyu shouted at the Night Sorrow on the rock. At this time, the purple gold beast king once again spat out the purple gold poison at Sikong Chuyu. After the purple gold beast king spat out the poison, Night Sorrow made his move. He leaped down from the big rock and rode on the purple gold beast king's body. The purple gold beast king's body was even more dispirited now, and its speed had decreased to a minimum. He exerted strength in his legs and clamped the purple gold beast king's body tightly. He held the reincarnation spear in his hands and stabbed it into the purple gold beast king's neck and head. Night Sorrow was very shocked when the reincarnation spear pierced half a foot into the purple gold beast king's body. One had to know that his arms now had the strength of a few thousand kilograms. Coupled with the fact that the reincarnation spear was incomparably sharp, it had only pierced half a foot into the purple gold beast king's body. How strong was its defense? This was his only chance. Night Sorrow knew that if he didn't seize this opportunity, then both he and Sikong Chuyu would die here. At this time, Sikong Chuyu was completely exhausted and fell to the ground. With a low roar, Night Sorrow's arms trembled as he exerted all the strength in his body. Following that, the true chi in his dantian exploded, and the vibration force was poured into the reincarnation spear. Hiss! The reincarnation spear, which had been infused with all the strength of the 7th level of the blood-refining realm by Night Sorrow and the vibration force, pierced through the purple gold beast king's neck and head. Again. Night Sorrow exerted strength in his waist and pressed the purple gold beast king's body against the ground. He exerted strength in his arms and stabbed downward again. He wanted to nail the purple gold beast king here because if the purple gold beast king attacked again, then Sikong Chuyu would be in danger. Under Night Sorrow's pressure, the purple gold beast king's 2 front legs couldn't support it and it knelt on the ground. This allowed Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear to pierce through its neck and into the hard purple gold or ground. The purple gold beast king exerted strength in its 2 hind legs and moved forward. Night Sorrow exerted strength in his arms and stabbed the reincarnation spear into the ground, not allowing the purple gold beast king to move. Night Sorrow's strength was great, but the purple gold beast king's strength was even greater. It carried Night Sorrow and dragged the reincarnation spear along the deep trench in the ground as it continued to crawl towards Sikong Chuyu. Get up, let's go. Night Sorrow exerted strength as he shouted at Sikong Chuyu, who was still sitting on the ground. Sikong Chuyu stood up and gritted his teeth. His body flashed and he stabbed his sword toward the purple gold beast king's open mouth. The purple gold beast king twisted its head, and Sikong Chuyu's sword missed its mark. The Sikong Chuyu, who had missed its mark, retreated a few steps. However, it stepped on a protruding rock and fell to the ground. The purple gold beast king, who had turned its head, moved its body and raised its head. Not good. Night Sorrow knew that this was the prelude to the purple gold beast king spewing out purple gold impurities. %3 Look at hashtag Zhang Edition Chapter C, plus, M. Night Sorrow forcefully slapped the reincarnation spear with his left hand. He leaped up and pounced towards Sikong Chuyu. At this moment, Night Sorrow's mind didn't think of anything else. He just felt that he couldn't let Sikong Chuyu get hurt. Pain. A heart-wrenching pain came from his back. After that, Night Sorrow lost consciousness. When he opened his eyes, Night Sorrow realized that he was lying on a rock. Sikong Chuyu was washing a towel beside him. The towel was covered in blood. Night Sorrow realized that he was half naked. Not far from him was the purple gold beast king's corpse. However, the corpse was covered in wounds. You're awake? I helped you kill it. Does your back hurt? Sikong Chuyu came to Night Sorrow's side, squatted down, and asked. It hurts. It really hurts. The purple gold impurities that this fellow spewed out were really powerful. Night Sorrow moved his body and felt that his back was really hurting. Oh, you. This is because it spewed out a lot of purple gold impurities. Plus, its life was in danger, so it only spewed out a little bit of purple gold impurities. Otherwise, you would be dead. Why are you so silly? Sikong Chuyu took the towel and cleaned Night Sorrow's back. It's fine as long as I'm not dead. Night Sorrow took out a set of clothes and sat up to put them on. Don't put them on. Not dead? If I didn't bring the antidote, you would be dead. Don't put on your clothes first. Wait for your wounds to scab before putting them on. Otherwise, they will scab, Sikong Chuyu said. I can't be naked all the time, right? Night Sorrow said gloomily. Don't worry. It will scab after half a day, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Night Sorrow nodded and didn't say anything else. He didn't mind spending half a day to harvest the purple gold. Thank you for this time. You can't be so silly in the future, Sikong Chuyu said to Night Sorrow. I know. You're not hurt, are you? Night Sorrow asked Sikong Chuyu. My arm is a little injured, but you blocked most of it. Otherwise, even if I didn't die, I would be disfigured. Sikong Chuyu's face was a little red. At the most critical moment, Night Sorrow had hugged her and blocked the purple gold impurities that the purple gold beast king had spewed out with his back. This purple gold beast king is really powerful. Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine, opened it, and took a sip. Chapter 75. Tianji Tower is too much of a scam. Why didn't they create a rank 5 monster? Night Sorrow said angrily when he saw the bandage wrapped around Sikong Chuyu's arm. If the purple gold beast king's cultivation was 1 or 2 levels lower than what the intelligence said, it might have been a temporary change. But this time, it was 5 levels lower. The intelligence must have been wrong. Sikong Chuyu was also very annoyed. Fortunately, the mission is completed. Night Sorrow twisted his body. The ointment on his body made him very uncomfortable. Night Sorrow grimaced in pain when he twisted his body. I told you not to move. The most precious thing on the purple gold beast king's body is its purple gold beast core. It is also my mission item. I'm giving up on this mission. Sikong Chuyu placed a fist-sized core crystal that was glowing purple in front of Night Sorrow. What are you doing? Aren't we friends? Night Sorrow felt a little uncomfortable when he saw Sikong Chuyu take out the purple gold beast king's core crystal. That's not what I meant. The main thing is that this purple gold beast core is too precious. You exchanged your life for it, Sikong Chuyu said. If we're friends, then just take it. Give me the wine. Night Sorrow pointed at the wine jar in Sikong Chuyu's hand. Sikong Chuyu smiled. This jar of wine is mine. At the same time, he put away the beast core. Sikong Chuyu originally estimated that Night Sorrow's wound would scab over in half a day and that he would be able to move in 2 days. But in reality, Night Sorrow's recovery ability shocked her. In 2 hours, the wound on his back had already scabbed over. After a night's rest, Night Sorrow could move again. When Night Sorrow could move again, the two of them entered the underground cave and began to harvest the purple gold. The purple gold beast king's cave was very deep. The two of them went 5 to 6 li underground before they reached the end of the cave. At this time, there was no light at all. They were relying on the luminous pearl in Sikong Chuyu's hand for illumination. At the bottom of the cave, the two of them saw purple gold ores shining with purple light. Where the purple gold beast king stayed, the purity of the purple gold ores was very high. Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu started to collect the precious materials. Of course, the more the better. C/G, 1 cm P7 version. The other Ps are pirated when they arrived. Night Sorrow had brought along mining tools, while Sikong Chuyu had taken out a long sword. The two of them began mining at the bottom of the cave. After harvesting for 2 hours, Sikong Chuyu stopped. The empty space in her storage ring was already filled. She found it strange that Night Sorrow's harvesting speed was faster than hers. Where did he put all the purple gold ores? Unable to hold back her curiosity, Sikong Chuyu asked, Night Sorrow, where did you put all the purple gold ores? Storage belt, Night Sorrow said without looking up. Sikong Chuyu really wanted to say bullshit. Was there such a big storage belt? If there was, then no one would use a storage ring. But then she thought that Night Sorrow might have more than one storage belt. After digging for 3 hours, the two of them left the underground cave. Night Sorrow had also dug out purple gold ores. That was a treasure dozens of times more valuable than purple gold ores. Night Sorrow originally wanted to continue digging, but Sikong Chuyu stopped him. She was worried that Night Sorrow's wounds would split open or sweat, which would be detrimental to his recovery. Night Sorrow didn't think there was any problem. He had cultivated all night yesterday and found that his wounds were healing very quickly, especially when the blood-refining energy circulated to his back. However, he didn't tell Sikong Chuyu about this. After coming to the surface, Sikong Chuyu released Fire Phoenix. Weren't you afraid of the purple gold ores coming out of the purple gold ores? Night Sorrow asked. You really are a blockhead. We don't need to scout this time. Can't we just have Fire Phoenix fly high in the sky? Where is your next mission location? Sikong Chuyu grabbed Night Sorrow's shoulder and landed on Fire Phoenix's back, allowing it to fly. The next mission is to go to Thousand Mountain City and get a black ironwood, Night Sorrow said. With Fire Phoenix's rapid flight, the two of them arrived at Thousand Mountain City's black ironwood forest in a day. What kind of weapon is this? Sikong Chuyu muttered to himself outside the black ironwood forest with a frown. What's wrong? Night Sorrow didn't understand why Sikong Chuyu would say that. Didn't you take a mission for black ironwood grass a while ago? The missions of the Green Tong token and Silver token also have missions to collect materials. This time, you took the Purple Gold Mine mission. I took the mission to hunt for the Purple Gold Beast King's Beast Core. Now, it's black ironwood. Someone must want to forge a weapon. Sikong Chuyu said. That has nothing to do with us. Night Sorrow didn't think too much about it. That's enough. The only danger here is the Redline Snake and Fire Phoenix. These Yao beasts won't come out. Go chop down a black ironwood tree. We'll go to Thousand Mountain City to rest. Tomorrow, we'll go to your next mission location, Sikong Chuyu said. I'll take care of the next mission myself. Thank you very much, Night Sorrow said as he chopped down the black ironwood tree. Black ironwood tree was extremely hard. After refinement, it could be fused with ores, increasing the hardness of the ores. Thus, Night Sorrow wasn't having an easy time chopping it down. What do you mean by you'll do it yourself? You're injured and will delay the progress of the mission. I'm afraid you won't be able to complete it, Sikong Chuyu said as he glanced at Night Sorrow. After chopping for the time it took to brew a cup of tea, Night Sorrow finally chopped down a black ironwood tree. After dealing with it according to the length of the mission, Night Sorrow nodded to Sikong Chuyu. After leaving the black ironwood forest, Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu rode the Fire Phoenix to Qianshan City and found an inn. After asking the attendant to prepare food, Sikong Chuyu nodded to Night Sorrow and said, "Let's go, I'll change your medicine." "No need. I feel almost better," Night Sorrow said with a smile. "Let's go," Sikong Chuyu said as he came to Night Sorrow's side. Night Sorrow nodded and entered the room, then took off his shirt. "Hey! The muscle cleansing ointment's effect is so strong. You're almost healed, the scabs are falling off," Sikong Chuyu said as he looked at Night Sorrow's back. "I told you there's no need." Yi Shang slowly put on his clothes. Sikong Chuyu didn't stop Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow had indeed recovered and didn't need to apply medicine. Bang! Bang! There was a knock on the door. Night Sorrow got up and opened the door. I'm sorry to disturb the two of you. The food is ready, you can enjoy it at any time." The attendant directly closed the door. "What's there to be embarrassed about?" Night Sorrow said as he put on his clothes and tidied himself up. "That bastard." Sikong Chuyu blushed. Of course, she understood what the attendant meant. The attendant saw Night Sorrow's messy clothes and thought that there was something going on in the room. "Don't scold him, he's just asking us to eat," Night Sorrow said with a smile. "It's embarrassing to be killed by you." Sikong Chuyu glared at Night Sorrow and left. During the meal, Sikong Chuyu was still a bit unnatural. "Sikong, what kind of weapon do you think needs so many materials?" Night Sorrow asked. Chapter 76. It's hard to tell what kind of weapon it is, but black iron wood and black iron grass are highly toxic. Add in the corrosive properties of the purple gold beast core, and you can imagine what kind of weapon it is, Sikong Chuyu said. "I understand. It's not a good thing to have someone like that in Danding City," Night Sorrow said as he ate. "Yes, we won't care about this anymore. If he comes out to harm people, someone will give us a mission. We will accept the mission and kill him," Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. "I understand. Thanks to your help, the mission went smoothly." Night Sorrow raised his wine to Sikong Chuyu. Don't say that. I should be the one thanking you. If that purple gold beast king had sprayed the purple gold impurities on my face or body, I wouldn't have been able to live. I owe you my life, Sikong Chuyu said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He drank the wine in one gulp. After eating, the two went back to their rooms to rest. Night Sorrow's body was injured, so he couldn't practice battle skills. He could only practice his chi and the myriad Tao Tong. While Night Sorrow was practicing, Sikong Chuyu couldn't calm down. She felt that something was wrong. The mission she accepted was like a trap. If Night Sorrow wasn't with her, she would be in trouble. It would be difficult to escape unscathed. She planned to go back and investigate who had given her the mission. If she endured being tricked, she wouldn't be Sikong Chuyu. After a night of practicing, Night Sorrow noticed that the scabs on his body had fallen off. After taking a shower, Night Sorrow went to the yard to practice his spear skills. Sikong Chuyu, who had changed into a light blue dress, saw Night Sorrow. She originally wanted to scold Night Sorrow, but when she noticed that Night Sorrow's body was moving freely, she didn't say anything. She knew that Night Sorrow had recovered. Let's go do the mission after we finish eating. I wonder if there will be any scars on your back, said Sikong Chuyu, who was sitting at the dining table. I'm a man. What's wrong with having some scars on my body? Night Sorrow put away his gun and sat across from Sikong Chuyu. Sikong Chuyu smiled at Night Sorrow and said, when you get married in the future, tell your woman that the scar on your back was left by another woman. Night Sorrow was startled. He hadn't thought about this problem, but he thought about it. If he married in the future, and his wife had scars on her body because of another man, he would definitely mind. Is it because you can't accept that your wife has scars on her body because of another man? Seeing Night Sorrow's expression change, Sikong Chuyu guessed Night Sorrow's thoughts. It was left by a friend. This should be an exception. Night Sorrow finished his words and started to eat. He didn't want to talk about this topic anymore. Sikong Chuyu didn't ask anything else. She knew that Night Sorrow must be thinking about something. They didn't talk until they left Shenshan City. Sikong, which sect are you from? Don't tell me you're from the Golden Flame sect. Night Sorrow, who was sitting on the fire phoenix and keeping a distance from Sikong, asked. No. Actually, I'm not from the Eastern Profound Domain. I came here to hide from some people and things. Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow and said. Sikong Chuyu then told Night Sorrow about his situation. Only then did he know that Sikong came from a big family. Because she wasn't satisfied with her family's arrangement, she didn't want to run away. This matter must be resisted. My cultivation is low. If I can, I will knock out the teeth of those who have designs on you. Night Sorrow waved his arm and said. You said it. I will remember your words. Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow and said with a smile. When I can, I will definitely help you. Night Sorrow nodded seriously. Okay, I can still hide. They won't succeed. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Sikong, you're so beautiful when you smile. Night Sorrow looked at Sikong Chuyu and said with a smile. You've also learned bad things. Sikong Chuyu rolled his eyes at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow smiled and didn't say anything. From the bottom of his heart, he felt that Sikong Chuyu looked good when he smiled. Sikong Chuyu followed Night Sorrow to finish all of his missions. In the middle, she accompanied Night Sorrow and didn't help him. She knew that Night Sorrow had a strong self-esteem. He wouldn't want others to help him if he could do it himself, even if it was something he couldn't do. After returning to Danding City, Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu went to Tianji Tower together. With Sikong's help, Night Sorrow quickly finished his mission and exchanged the Iron Order for the Qingtong Order. Sikong, I'm going back. Remember, there are some things you can't compromise on. Night Sorrow said to Sikong Chuyu. Alright, come over when you have time. After sending Yi Shang to the entrance of the Celestial Terminus Tower, Sikong Chuyu waved at him. Knight Sorrow nodded at Sikong Chuyu and entered the beast carriage. He told the carriage to go directly to his courtyard. After returning to the courtyard, Knight Sorrow saw Aoi and her maid, Chushu, in the main hall. You brat, why didn't you come back for a few days? Don't you know it's very worrying? Why didn't you call your 11th senior brother when you went out? Aoi reprimanded Knight Sorrow when she saw him. I was doing a mission with someone else this time. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. He knew that Aoi was angry because she cared about him. How come I don't know who you know and who you're doing a mission with? Nonsense. Mo-chan also appeared. I went with Sikong from Tianji Tower to finish all the missions. Knight Sorrow said with embarrassment. When he left, he didn't tell Mo-chan. People from Tianji Tower? 13. You have a lot of connections. Aoi didn't get angry anymore. She put her hand on Knight Sorrow's shoulder and said. 6th senior sister, that Sikong is an absolute beauty. You haven't seen her. She's breathtakingly beautiful, Mo-chan said with a smile. 13. The more beautiful a woman is, the more dangerous she is. You have to be careful. Aoi reminded Knight Sorrow after hearing Mo-chan's words. 6th senior sister, aren't you a beauty too? But senior sister, you're very good to me. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. 13, you really know how to talk. Who knows how many people in Medicine Valley are thinking about senior sister? Mo-chan said with a smile after hearing Knight Sorrow's words. You still have the cheek to laugh. 13 is back safely. If anything happens, you'll be in trouble. Aoi glared at Mo-chan. Then, they talked about the mission. Knight Sorrow gave a simple explanation. You're saying that the woman called Sikong killed the Purple Gold Beast King? A peak rank 4 Purple Gold Beast King? Aoi asked with surprise. Chapter 77. 13. You reached bronze rank in Tianji Tower. That's insane. Aoi looked at the bronze token in Knight Sorrow's hand in astonishment. Yes, after turning in all the missions today, I reached bronze rank. This way, I can save some points by exchanging for medicinal pills, Knight Sorrow said with a smile as he put away the bronze token. Exchanging for medicinal pills? What kind of medicinal pills do you want? Aoi poured a cup of tea for Knight Sorrow and asked. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, I want to exchange for soul strengthening pills. Sikong said that using 3 soul strengthening pills in Yuan Gathering Realm is a bit too much. Using 2 is about the same, so I want to exchange for 2, Knight Sorrow said. You have a lot of points, don't you? Or do you think that Taishan Peak doesn't have any medicinal pills? Do you still need to exchange for soul strengthening pills? You'll have them when you reach Yuan Gathering Realm. Aoi stared at Knight Sorrow. Mo-chan then smiled and told Knight Sorrow that when they were in Yuan Gathering Realm, Taishan Peak gave them 3 soul strengthening pills. However, because of Yu Yang Yu's restrictions, everyone could only take 1 or 2 pills. 13. During this period of time, you've been going back and forth on missions, so your foundation is very stable. In the following time, you should work hard on your cultivation. Wait until your cultivation reaches the element gathering tier before you go on missions. Before you advance, don't touch any bronze missions, Qing Ji said to Yishang. She was very worried that Yishang would recklessly take on a bronze mission. Okay, 6th senior sister, I understand, Knight Sorrow said with a nod. 13. Do you plan to return to Taishan Peak or stay here to cultivate? Mo-chan asked. I think it's the same anywhere, Knight Sorrow said after thinking for a while. How about this? 11. Go back and tell Master about the situation here. I'll stay here to guard your 9th senior sister and guide 13's cultivation. Also, when you come again, bring back all the resources that belong to 13, Aoi said to Mo-chan. Ever since 13 came, 11 has lost his position and became an errand boy, Mo-chan said with a sigh. You talk too much, you talk too much. Qing Ji grabbed the towel on the table and threw it at Mo Chen. Mo Chen laughed and ran away. After chatting with Aoi for a while, Night Sorrow went back to the second floor. He couldn't handle Aoi's questions were all about Sikong. In a private room on the top floor of the Celestial Extreme Tower, Sikong stood in front of the window while Enforcer Dong stood not far behind her. Enforcer Dong, how many people know that I'm here? Sikong turned around and asked Enforcer Dong. No one knows. My lord, you said that the Purple Gold Beast King's mission was a trap. Could it be targeted at my lord? Is it a coincidence? Enforcer Dong said with uncertainty. Some time ago, the Eastern Xian region headquarters sent people here. They said they sent people to all the Tier 1 cities, right? Keep an eye on the person sent over. Also, find someone absolutely reliable to go to the Golden Purple City to see what's going on in the Extreme Heaven Tower. That mission was reported from there, so it shouldn't be wrong. After pondering for a while, Sikong Chuyu made some arrangements. My lord, you're saying that someone noticed you coming to Danding City? Enforcer Dong said with surprise. Yes, those uncles at home are still up to no good. They probably found out that I came to the Eastern Xian region. I'll have to hide for a while, Sikong Chuyu said. Then where are you going? That won't do. If you don't have anyone by your side and something happens, how am I going to explain it to Madam? Enforcer Dong panicked when he heard Sikong Chuyu's words. I won't go too far. I'll stay in Danding City. It'll be best if no one notices me coming to Danding City. Even if they do, they won't think I'm still in Danding City after I disappear. Danding City will be the best place for me to hide, Sikong Chuyu said. I understand. I'll arrange a place for you to stay immediately. Enforcer Dong bowed and was about to leave. No need. I have somewhere to go. If something happens, I'll go to Enforcer Dong's house. Also, prepare 2 yuan boosting pills for me, Sikong Chuyu said to Enforcer Dong. My lord, what do you need those low-grade pills for? Enforcer Dong didn't understand. For this Purple Gold Beast King mission, if it wasn't for Night Sorrow, I wouldn't have been able to come back. He might need the yuan boosting pills. Sikong Chuyu didn't hide anything from Enforcer Dong. After receiving the yuan boosting pills, Sikong Chuyu left Tianji Tower and found a beast carriage. He circled around Danding City a few times before arriving at Night Sorrow's house on Longquan Mountain. After arriving at the house, Sikong Chuyu immediately informed the house's housekeeper, Xiao Lu, that he wanted to see Night Sorrow. After hearing Xiao Lu's message, Night Sorrow came to the house. He was very curious. Who would want to see him? When he saw Sikong Chuyu in a white robe and a purple veil outside the door, Night Sorrow was stunned. He quickly walked a few steps forward and opened the door. Sikong, why are you here? Can I take refuge? Sikong Chuyu smiled as he entered the house with the veil. Stop joking. Who can threaten you? Night Sorrow smiled as he brought Sikong Chuyu in. I'm not joking. I've run into some trouble. Can I stay with you for a while? Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow seriously. Of course. It doesn't matter how long. Night Sorrow could tell that Sikong Chuyu was serious. That's good. Sikong Chuyu smiled and nodded. 6th Senior Sister, this is my good friend Sikong Chuyu. Night Sorrow introduced Sikong Chuyu to Aoi as they entered the hall. Hello, I'm Sikong Chuyu. Sikong Chuyu nodded at Aoi. I'm Aoi, Night Sorrow's 6th Senior Sister. Aoi stood up and said. At the same time, she sized up Sikong Chuyu. She was shocked because Sikong Chuyu was much younger than her, but his cultivation was higher than hers. 6th Senior Sister, please take a seat. I'll arrange a place for Sikong to stay. Night Sorrow said to Aoi. Then, he led Sikong Chuyu outside. What? Wait. She's moving in? Aoi's expression changed. It was normal for someone to visit, but it was a bit ridiculous for someone to move in. Sikong is in some trouble, so he's moving in. Night Sorrow nodded. 13. Do you know what cultivation level he is? He's at the spirit severing stage. Will he be in trouble? Aoi looked at Sikong Chuyu. Chapter 78. Sikong, wait a moment. Sixth senior sister, there must be a misunderstanding. Sikong and I have known each other for a long time. She has helped me a lot during our missions. Night Sorrow stood in front of Sikong and said to Aoi. 13. I should also trust the people you trust. Even if they have ulterior motives, I should trust them with you. But your ninth senior sister is in seclusion. Aoi was in a difficult position. After hearing Sikong Chuyu's words and seeing Sikong Chuyu's clear eyes, she knew that Sikong Chuyu didn't have any bad intentions. But she couldn't afford to gamble. Night Sorrow, your sixth senior sister's words are reasonable. It's fine, move aside. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Sixth senior sister, no matter who it is, if they want to hurt my ninth senior sister, they will have to step over my dead body. But I really can't let my friends be disappointed. Sikong, I will accompany you to find a suitable place in the city. Night Sorrow stepped aside and walked outside. He knew that Aoi did the right thing. After all, she didn't know Sikong Chuyu. Alright, go arrange a place for her. Don't go to the lake. Aoi sat down. She knew that Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu had a good relationship. If Sikong Chuyu left the courtyard, then Night Sorrow would never be able to untie the knot in his heart. I will go later. I will accompany sixth senior sister to have a cup of tea. Sikong Chuyu entered the hall and sat down. I am very sorry. If it was any other time, I would welcome 13's friends with a banquet. But my junior sister is in seclusion, so I cannot drink. Aoi said. I understand. It is your junior brother and sister's fortune to have a senior sister like you. Sikong Chuyu said as he took a sip of tea. My junior brothers and sisters don't come from good backgrounds. They are all orphans and I am their elder sister. 13. Go and arrange a place for Miss Sikong to stay. Aoi waved at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took a look and left with little 6 when he felt that there was no problem. Sikong, 13 is Night Sorrow. He's still young and doesn't know anything about beauty. His friendship with you is genuine. He doesn't have any friends, so I hope you won't hurt him in the future. Aoi sighed. She knew that Sikong Chuyu was destined to be a hurdle in Night Sorrow's life. Sikong Chuyu was too beautiful. Aoi had seen countless people, but she had never seen a woman with a better figure, appearance, and temperament than Sikong Chuyu. It might not be a big deal now, but when Sikong Chuyu's life changed in the future, Night Sorrow would be a hurdle. I know. Genuine friendship is hard to come by. He saved my life the day before yesterday and his back is still full of scars. So I won't hurt him. I just don't understand. Do I look like a bad person when I call you sixth senior sister? Sikong Chuyu was really in a dilemma. Aoi seemed to think that she would definitely hurt Night Sorrow. That's not what I meant. You'll understand slowly. If I offended you in any way, I'm sorry. Aoi cupped her hands and said. Sikong Chuyu shook her head. She really didn't mind. She knew very well that Aoi had been protecting her junior brother and sister ever since they met. The three of them had dinner together. Night Sorrow finished his food quickly and nodded at Aoi and Sikong Chuyu. Sixth senior sister, Sikong, I'm going to cultivate. Looking at Night Sorrow's back, Aoi shook her head helplessly. How heartless. You're right to be worried about him. He's as simple as a blank piece of paper, Sikong Chuyu said. Aoi didn't go to rest. She had to pay attention to the safety of the courtyard because Yang Lei was about to break through to the 5th rank. This period of time was too crucial. Sikong Chuyu didn't go to rest either. Instead, She played chess with Aoi in the hall to pass the time. The two of them only ended the game when the sun rose. "Thank you for spending the night with me," Aoi said after putting away the game. Sikong Chuyu shook her head. She really admired Aoi's care for her junior brother and sister. It could be said that she cared for her junior brother and sister very much. "You guys are so early." Night Sorrow came down with a towel. "Early my ass. I'm going to sleep. If anyone comes, wake me up immediately. Remember, no matter who it is, Sikong, you should go rest too." Aoi stretched her back and left the hall to rest. "My senior sister didn't sleep the whole night?" Night Sorrow asked in surprise. Yes. Although she could sense the movements in the courtyard while meditating, she was nervous and felt uneasy. Sikong Chuyu said. "Then you stayed with my senior sister for the whole night? Hurry up and rest." Yi Shang could tell and had also heard Qing Ji's words. "Rest? I still don't know where I'm staying," Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Night Sorrow did arrange a place for her but didn't bring her there. She didn't know where it was. Night Sorrow smiled awkwardly and hurriedly brought Sikong Chuyu to a pavilion not far from the bamboo building. When they reached the pavilion, Sikong Chuyu turned around. "Take care of your body. If you feel any discomfort, tell me. Don't let me know if there's any residual poison." Night Sorrow smiled and waved his hand and left. He still had to practice his spear arts and mountain suppression hand. The next few days were peaceful. Sikong Chuyu and Aoi's relationship was getting better and better. Sikong Chuyu respected Aoi and Aoi knew how to interact with people. Her impression of Sikong Chuyu was getting better and better. One evening, when the three were eating, Emo-chan came. When he saw Sikong Chuyu, he was stunned. 13, you're amazing. You even brought a beauty home." When Emo-chan said this, Sikong Chuyu's face flushed red. Night Sorrow was also a bit stunned. He knew what Emo-chan meant. "H nu e dolamax T0 fast up, what nonsense are you talking about? You can't even handle your own matters and you're worried about 13? Aoi glared at Emo-chan. "Sixth senior sister, I still need you to solve my problems." Emo-chan sighed. "You need sixth senior sister to solve your problems? Then tell me, who do you like? I'll help you think of a way." Aoi said to Emo-chan. 13, what do you think I should do? I saw her today. Emo-chan looked at Night Sorrow. I'll tell sixth senior sister in a bit. Yi Shang knew who Emo-chan was referring to when he said he saw her. It must be Chu Ling Zhao's cousin, Chu Ling Fei. Okay, it doesn't matter what I do. Emo-chan nodded and sat down to eat. He knew there were some things he had to face. Night Sorrow went to talk to Aoi to avoid any awkwardness. After eating, Emo-chan glanced at Yi Shang and left. He was very conflicted. On one side was his senior sister whom he respected greatly, and on the other side was his lover who had waited for him for more than 10 years. If this matter was not resolved, it would be a torture for him. He hoped that Yi Shang's face would be big enough for Qing Ji to give in. Chapter 79. 13. What's going on? If it's about Master, I can help you talk to him. Aoi looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Sixth senior sister, I'll tell you in detail. 11th senior brother is worried that you won't be happy. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for Aoi. I won't be happy. Why don't you tell me in detail? I'll only be happy about 11th's matter. Why would I be unhappy? Aoi said with some surprise. Night Sorrow then told her about Emo-chan and Chu Lingfei. That 11 is really a bastard. That's only between me and Chu Lingxiao. It has nothing to do with anyone else. Even if Chu Lingfei is that bastard's cousin, I wouldn't mind. Tell 11 to get his ass over here. Aoi shouted at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow let out a sigh of relief. He knew that Aoi was a reasonable person, but he was also worried that she would lose her mind. Now that there was no problem, he felt much more at ease. He got up and called Imo-chan over. Sixth senior sister. Imo-chan greeted in a low voice. 11. Is sixth senior sister such an unreasonable person in your eyes? Don't say that this matter is nothing to senior sister, even if it is something. How can sixth senior sister watch you be unhappy? Ching-ji's eyes were red, her emotions were very emotional and complicated. She was happy that Imo-chan was considerate of her, but she also felt guilty and apologetic. Sixth senior sister, that's not what I meant. I just don't want you to be unhappy. I'm sorry, sixth senior sister. Imo-chan's voice was choked with emotion. 11. No matter how much you can do for 12, sixth senior sister will do for you. We are senior sister and junior brother. Ching-ji stepped forward and hugged Imo-chan, patting Imo-chan's back. Thank you, 13. Imo-chan smiled at Yi-shang after the knot in his heart was untied. 11th senior brother, now that our problem is solved, what if Chu Lingxiao has something to say? Knight Sorrow thought of another possibility. How dare he? If he doesn't agree, we'll beat him until he agrees. I don't believe we can't teach him a lesson. We don't need master to do this. We can just talk to eldest senior brother later. Aoi snorted. Thank you, senior sister. I want to drink some wine. Did you bring the azure blood brew? Imo-chan asked with a smile. Bastard, you only know how to trick your senior sister. Aoi slapped Imo-chan, but she still took out a jar of wine. If I don't cheat senior sister, I'll cheat 13. Will you guys let me? Imo-chan glanced at Knight Sorrow. Why don't you try tricking 13? If Shirzuan doesn't skin you alive, you can drink. Sikong, you drink some too. I won't be drinking. Aoi glanced at the direction where Yang Lei was in seclusion and said. Just as Aoi was speaking, a shocking aura came from the direction of Yang Lei's seclusion. Then, Knight Sorrow and the others felt the spiritual energy in the courtyard go berserk. She successfully broke through. This is the aura of the 5th rank. Aoi said excitedly. Yes, this is the aura of a 5th rank cultivator. Knight Sorrow, your 9th senior sister succeeded. Sikong Chuyu said. 9th senior sister is coming out. Let's drink together. Knight Sorrow was very happy for Yang Lei. Among the senior brothers and sisters, Yang Lei was the most protective. Therefore, Knight Sorrow felt that Yang Lei was the easiest to get along with. How can it be so fast? I still need a few days to stabilize my cultivation. But I can drink now. Aoi said with a smile. 6th senior sister, does that mean that 9th senior sister is now the strongest among the 2nd generation disciples in the Medicine Valley? Imo-chan was very excited when he heard that Yang Lei had successfully broken through. In terms of cultivation, she should be the strongest. But in terms of actual combat, there are still strong people in the 2nd generation of the Medicine Valley. For example, eldest senior brother killed a 5th rank cultivator a few years ago. That Chu Lingxiao is not simple either. Just thinking about that bastard makes me angry. Aoi opened the wine jar and said. With Yang Lei's successful breakthrough, the others relaxed. Aoi, Imo-chan, Knight Sorrow, and Sikong Chuyu drank together. It should be called tasting wine because the green blood wine was too strong. Only Knight Sorrow could drink it in big mouthfuls. These are your cultivation resources, soul gathering pill and soul increasing pill. Master only gave you 2 soul increasing pills. Take them when you are in the 3rd and 7th level of the soul gathering pill. After drinking 2 mouthfuls of wine, Imo-chan took out a small bag and threw it to Knight Sorrow. That was the cultivation resource that the sect gave to Knight Sorrow. What's in this bottle? Knight Sorrow opened the bag and found 2 different bottles. It's Cauldron Spirit Liquid. It's so depressing. Imo-chan pursed his lips and said after introducing it. What's Cauldron Spirit Liquid? Knight Sorrow opened the bottle and sniffed it before asking. 6th senior sister, isn't it shameful to show off? Mo Chen didn't answer Night Sorrow's question. Instead, he looked at Aoi. It's indeed shameful to show off. But what I want to say is that 13 doesn't know what this cauldron spirit liquid does. Aoi said with a smile. Then Aoi told Night Sorrow about the origin and effects of the cauldron spirit liquid. The cauldron spirit liquid was a kind of spirit liquid produced by the 8-dragon cauldron, which was the most precious spiritual weapon of the Medicine Valley. It was produced at a special place on Danding Cliff. The cauldron spirit liquid was produced by the 8-dragon cauldron by condensing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. However, it was extremely rare. Only 10 to 20 drops were produced in a year. In the Medicine Valley, only heaven-grade disciples were qualified to use it. Elders and king-grade disciples weren't qualified to use it. Then why did you give it to me? Night Sorrow asked in surprise. You don't know, right? Right now, your security level in the Medicine Valley is heaven-grade. Your cultivation resources are also the same as heaven-grade disciples, but you don't have the strength and status of a heaven-grade disciple, Aoi said. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow figured it out. It should be the benefits that he handed in the sacred cauldron scripture himself. 13. This is good stuff. In our Taishan Peak, only the eldest senior brother and the 9th senior sister have used this stuff, Mo Chen said as he stared at the cauldron spirit liquid. What's the benefit? Night Sorrow asked as he closed the bottle. It can't help the user directly improve their cultivation, but it can condense their true qi and strengthen their body. The most amazing thing is that it won't cause any inner demons. Everyone has a soul. It's invisible and untouchable, but it really exists. It's just like how some people have sensitive senses and some people have clear eyes. The hidden effect of the cauldron spirit liquid is to strengthen the soul, so you won't suffer from qi deviation in the future, Aoi said. Then there are 2 bottles here. Senior sister and senior brother, take them. Sikong, if I have more in the future, I'll give it to you. Night Sorrow handed the 2 bottles of cauldron spirit liquid to Aoi and Mo Chen. $$ plus permanent/free to read a novel. What are you doing? This is your cultivation resource, not ours. Keep it. Aoi glared at Night Sorrow. 6th senior sister, my cultivation is going well. I don't really need this. Night Sorrow shook his head. Chapter 80. After looking at Aoi and Mo Chen, Night Sorrow put away the liquid. He understood that Aoi and Mo Chen had their own pride. They wouldn't want something that didn't belong to them. By the way, I have something to tell you. Just like Master, the 9 Peak Master has also accepted a personal disciple. I think the 9 Peak is going to win the rookie competition this time. Mo Chen's expression was somewhat unnatural. What's going on? Does 13 not have a chance? Aoi put down her wine glass. It's the beast baby that Tai Kun, the head disciple of the 9 Peak, brought back a few years ago. Back then, the Valley Master saw him and said that he was very talented. He was born with bronze muscles and iron bones. Later, the Valley Master brought him to the medicine hut to eliminate his wild nature. 2 months ago, the Valley Master sent the beast baby back to the 9 Peak. The 9 Peak's master, Su Chenbai, announced that the beast baby's wild nature was not much left, so he took him in as a disciple. Mo Chen told the news he had heard when he returned this time. I've heard of that beast child. When he was brought back, he directly injured a few servants, Aoi said. When I went to collect resources for 13, I met the kid that Tai Kun brought along. He also went to collect resources. He said that he had worn away his bestial nature, but his eyes were filled with sinister and treacherous intent. It made people's hair stand on end. At that time, Tai Kun showed off to me, saying that the beast doll was also going to participate in the newcomer competition, and wanted our Taishan Peak to be prepared. The beast doll smiled at me and did a neck-breaking gesture, Mo Chen said. Bastard, the 9 Peak is doing this on purpose, Aoi cursed. Su Chenbai doesn't get along well with Master. Of course, he wouldn't let go of an opportunity to attack Taishan Peak. That Shouwa shouldn't be called Shouwa anymore. He should be called Su Mu. That's the name Su Chenbai gave him, Imo Chen said. This Su Chenbai is really a piece of sh*t. What's Su Mu's cultivation base? Aoi asked. 5th layer of element gathering tier. He was born with an extraordinary talent, and has the ability to battle above his cultivation level, Imo Chen said. Night Sorrow got up and left. When he reached the stairs, he said, I will work hard to cultivate. Watching Night Sorrow leave, Aoi glared at Imo Chen. She knew that this news was a huge blow to Night Sorrow because Yu Yangyu had said that he would either not participate in the battle of the best newcomers, or he would have to put on a good show. Under such circumstances, how could Night Sorrow allow himself to lose? Imo Chen rubbed his forehead forcefully. That was not his original intention. He was just talking about it. Because of Su Mu's participation, the competition between the rookies had reached a point where nothing could be done. Believe in him. As long as he wants to, then he will be able to do it. 5th level of element gathering tier is much higher than Night Sorrow. As long as you give Night Sorrow enough time, this won't be a problem, Sikong Chuyu said. There is not much time. There is less than half a year left. The annual sect competition is held 3 months before the disciple recruitment event, Aoi said. Imo Chen shook his head. This system was not perfect. Some outer sect disciples had already cultivated for several years, so how could this be considered a competition between the rookies? Even if Su Mu was grinding his wild nature in the medicinal hut, the Valley Master could not possibly not teach him anything. He must have meditated. Returning to his room on the 2nd floor, Night Sorrow took out a blood essence pill and ate it. Then, he ate half a spirit congealing pill and began to cultivate. He did not want to embarrass Taishan Peak because of himself. In the next few days, Night Sorrow did not come out much. He ate fasting pills and continued to cultivate. On the 4th day, Night Sorrow came out. He did not come out of his own will, but was dragged out by Yang Lei. After coming out of seclusion, Yang Lei learned about Night Sorrow's situation in the past few days. She immediately went to the 2nd floor and pulled Night Sorrow out of his room. 9th senior sister, you came out of seclusion. Congratulations. Night Sorrow, who came out of the room, greeted Yang Lei. Yes, so everyone has to drink to celebrate, Yang Lei said with a smile. Sure-san, if your 9th senior sister doesn't call you, are you going to stay here? Aoi looked at Night Sorrow and said. I plan to break through to the elemental gathering stage as soon as possible, Night Sorrow said. Well, take your time. Aoi nodded and said. Everyone had a good time eating and drinking. Not to mention in the Medicine Valley, even in other top forces, it was a big deal for a member to enter the 5th stage. It was a sign of becoming a powerhouse. After eating, Night Sorrow walked around the courtyard with Sikong Chuyu, then went back to his room to cultivate. 6th senior sister, I plan to go back to Taishan Peak. I have to tell Master when I break through, Yang Lei said. Okay, you go back. You go back with 11th junior brother and take care of his business, Aoi told Yang Lei about Imo Chen and Chu Lingfei. Okay, if Chu Lingxiao dares to cause trouble, I'll fight him in the arena. He was stronger than me in the past, but now I have absolute confidence in defeating him, Yang Lei said. Then you two go back. I'll stay here and cultivate while watching Sher-san, Aoi said to Yang Lei and Imo Chen. 6th senior sister, I told Sher-san about Su Mu. Did I provoke him? Imo Chen said apologetically. It's okay, he needs an opponent. Su Mu is ruthless, but Sher-san is definitely more ruthless than him. Su Chenbai wants to humiliate our Taishan Peak, but it's hard to say who will be humiliated, Aoi said coldly. Sikong, if you have time, let's drink tea together. I'll go back with Sher-san first, Yang Lei said to Sikong Chuyu. After Yang Lei left, Sikong Chuyu said goodbye to Aoi and went back to his room to cultivate. Time passed quickly, and half a month passed in the blink of an eye. Night Sorrow had reached the peak of the 9th stage of chi refining and had reached the bottleneck. After feeling that he could no longer refine the spiritual chi of heaven and earth and the energy of alchemical pills, Night Sorrow came out of his room. He planned to calm down a bit before breaking through to the element gathering tier. The refining chi tier and the element gathering tier were two different tiers. There was a huge difference in the amount of true chi, and the quality of true chi was also different. Although Yi Chang had defeated opponents in the 5th and 6th layer of element gathering tier, that was because he had relied on battle techniques and the strength of his body, not true chi. There was a huge difference between the two tiers of true chi. When Night Sorrow walked out of his room, he did not see Sikong and Aoi. He arranged for the servants to prepare some food, and went to check on Tianyu. "Lord Knight, this Tianyu can eat too much. He eats a wild beast a day," Little Six said. "Feed him as much as he can eat." "Here are the gold notes." Night Sorrow took out some gold notes and gave them to Little Six, then helped Tianyu comb his feathers. Tianyu had grown a lot taller. When he spread his wings, he had a surface area of 9.5 feet. Chapter 81. Shortly after Night Sorrow returned to the 2nd floor, Aoi appeared because it was dinner time. Aoi has high requirements for the quality of life. If it wasn't necessary, she wouldn't eat fasting pills. Master Qing, Master Night just came out. He played with Tianyu for a while, ate something, and then went back to his room. Little Six reported to Aoi. Aoi nodded. She wasn't worried about Night Sorrow. After a period of continuous missions and actual combat, Night Sorrow's foundation was very stable. She went out and walked towards the attic where Sikong Chuyu was. She planned to ask Sikong Chuyu to eat together. When she arrived at Sikong Chuyu's attic, Aoi stopped. What made Qing Ji shocked was that she discovered that Sikong Chuyu was also in seclusion to break through. When Sikong Chuyu came to the courtyard, her cultivation was at the 7th rank of the 4th step. Now, she was advancing towards the 8th rank of the 4th step. What made Qing Ji surprised was Sikong Chuyu's trust in her. If she was disturbed during her advancement, she would fail on the verge of success and be seriously injured. Shaking her head and putting aside the thoughts in her heart, Aoi returned to the main building and began to eat. #C/original chapter 8h/acts. After eating, Aoi didn't go to cultivate. Instead, she stayed in the lobby. Since Sikong Chuyu trusted her, she couldn't betray this trust. Not to mention that Aoi and Sikong Chuyu had a good relationship now, just based on the fact that she was Night Sorrow's friend, she had to help him. After returning to his room, Night Sorrow sorted out his emotions, took a spirit congealing pill, and began to close up. There was an essential difference between chi refining and chi gathering. That was the difference in the quality of chi. Now what Night Sorrow had to do was to compress the saturated chi to produce a qualitative change from a mist state to a liquid state. The liquid state of chi was the sign of entering the chi gathering stage. The liquid state of chi was the sign of the chi condensation stage. Night Sorrow first circulated the true chi in his dantian, calming it down. After a quarter of an hour, Night Sorrow refined the spirit congealing pill and let the medicinal power rush towards his dantian. At the same time, he compressed the true chi in his dantian fiercely. With the compression of the true chi, Night Sorrow's dantian space became blank, which allowed the energy produced by the spirit congealing pill to come in. Night Sorrow refined the energy of the spirit congealing pill and then continued to compress it. This was a difficult process, and there could not be any accidents. If there was an accident, the compressed true chi would rebound, and everything would be in vain. There would also be a situation where the dantian and 5 viscera and 6 bowels would be damaged. Night Sorrow continued to refine the medicinal power of the congealing spirit pill into the true chi, filling the blank in the dantian, and then compressing it with the true chi in the dantian. 2 hours, 4 hours. Night Sorrow's forehead was covered with sweat. He could not relax the pressure of compressing his true chi. As time slipped away, at the moment when the 6th hour passed, Night Sorrow's dantian shook. After the true qi was compressed to an extreme, it produced a qualitative change, and a drop of liquid true qi was produced. After the appearance of this drop of liquid true qi, a chain reaction occurred in Night Sorrow's dantian. After the misty true qi touched this drop of liquid true qi, it was assimilated into liquid true qi. In less than a quarter of an hour, the true qi in Night Sorrow's dantian was completely transformed. After continuing to cultivate for an hour, Night Sorrow completely stabilized his cultivation base in the Yuan gathering realm. Then he stood up and left the room. He was going to take a bath. His body was full of sweat and it was very uncomfortable. When he went downstairs and saw Aoi sitting in the hall drinking tea, Night Sorrow was a little surprised. At this time, the sky was not yet bright. In the middle of the night, are you haunted? Aoi, who was sitting in the hall, saw Night Sorrow and said. I'm going to take a bath, Night Sorrow said. You silently advanced to the Yuan gathering realm. Go take a bath first. Come back and we'll chat over tea. Aoi waved her hand at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took a bath and the sky was bright. After changing his clothes, Night Sorrow came to the hall. Sixth senior sister, did you wake up early or did you not rest? Have a cup of tea first. Sikong is advancing. I was worried that a thief or something would disturb her, so I stood guard for her. I didn't expect you to also be advancing. Why didn't you tell senior sister? Aoi poured a cup of tea for Night Sorrow and said. I'm advancing to the Yuan gathering realm. It's nothing. I just don't want sixth senior sister to worry, Night Sorrow said after sitting down. Don't be too stressed. That Sumu is not a big deal. He just started cultivating earlier than you. Aoi knew that Night Sorrow was stressed, so she opened her mouth to relieve Night Sorrow's pressure. I know, but Taishian Peak's face cannot be lost, Night Sorrow said. Su Chenbai is a despicable person. He has been at odds with Taishian Peak since a long time ago. Besides, the Four Seas sect is also a sect under the Nine Peak. When your 12th senior brother got into trouble, Su Chenbai made excuses so that our Taishian Peak wouldn't take revenge. This time, he accepted that beast child Su Mu as his disciple because he's targeting our Taishian Peak, Aoi said. After that, Night Sorrow also found out that the Nine Peak often used underhanded tactics in the sect competition. The disciples of the other elders of Taishian Peak had all been tricked. Most importantly, the Valley Master was already old, and his disciples couldn't take up the position of Valley Master. Therefore, the Medicine Valley planned to choose one of the other Peak Masters to take over the position of Valley Master. The most likely candidate was Yu Yangyu, followed by Su Chenbai. Therefore, the two peaks often had conflicts. Su Chenbai wanted to humiliate Taishian Peak and make Yu Yangyu lose his prestige. Master said that he doesn't care about the position of Valley Master. Besides, the newcomer competition is nothing. The Nine Peak can only dream of having you suppress Taishian Peak. Don't think too much about it. I'm telling you this to let you know that if any of the Nine Peak's disciples provoke you in the future, you'll have to deal with them to death, Aoi said. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood that the Medicine Valley was very complicated. As they chatted, Night Sorrow also learned that the Tianyua Peak's Peak Master, Jin Kan, and the Nine Peak's Peak Master, Su Chenbai, were fellow disciples. The two of them were the disciples of the Medicine Valley's second elder. By the way, senior sister, I've heard of a name called Lin Tianjue. Is he very powerful? Before Night Sorrow entered the Medicine Valley, he heard the Enlightenment mention this name. He's the number 1 disciple of the 3rd generation and also the number 1 on the elixir list. He's Luo Daoyuan's disciple. How do you know him? Aoi asked. Night Sorrow told her about how Qin Zhan wanted to kill him in Grass Valley Town, but the Enlightenment stopped him. Then, Qin Zhan threatened the Enlightenment. That's because our Taishian Peak didn't have any 3rd generation disciples before. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had the chance to show off. Aoi snorted coldly. The two chatted casually. Aoi reminded Night Sorrow that he had to keep the alternate dimension in mind. In less than a year and a half, the alternate dimension in Pill Cauldron Mountain Range would open. At that time, Night Sorrow had to cultivate to the core condensation realm. The alternate dimension was very important because it could easily produce heavenly treasures. Chapter 82. A space that no one has set foot in, after countless years, will produce treasures. However, it will also produce heaven-defying demonic beasts. Risks and benefits coexist. If you enter, you must be careful. After Qing Ji finished speaking, she stood up and looked towards the direction of Sikong Chuyu's pavilion. Night Sorrow was stunned. Sixth senior sister, what's wrong? Sikong has successfully advanced. I didn't expect her cultivation to reach such a level at such a young age. Aoi said with some emotion. Senior sister, I know that when a cultivator reaches the 4th stage, their appearance will change very little. Is Sikong still young? Night Sorrow asked. Around 23 or 24. Not too far off. Aoi said. She's a little older than me, but her cultivation is higher than boss's. Night Sorrow said as he rubbed his hair. Aoi reached out and rubbed Night Sorrow's hair. Take it slow. You guys have different starting points. I'll continue to tell you about the alternate dimensions. Aoi then told Night Sorrow about the alternate dimensions that they had discovered in the past. Night Sorrow also had some understanding of alternate dimensions. What are you guys talking about? While Night Sorrow and Aoi were chatting, Sikong Chuyu, who had taken a shower and changed into a light blue dress, came to the hall. Tell Shur-san about the sect. Congratulations, Qing Ji said with a smile. Night Sorrow has entered the element gathering realm. Not bad. His cultivation speed is excellent. Most importantly, he's not weak. Sikong Chuyu sat down and said. Aren't I like an ant in front of you? You can crush me to death. Night Sorrow laughed self-deprecatingly. I've been cultivating for much longer than you. Cultivation success mainly depends on one's potential and opportunities. I believe in you. Don't you still need to help me beat some people away? Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Night Sorrow didn't ask any more questions. He just lowered his head and drank his tea. After a while, Little Six came in and called them to have breakfast. After eating breakfast, Night Sorrow began to practice the chasing wind spear art. Along with the bursting of true qi in his dantian, Night Sorrow discovered that his oscillating power had reached 33 waves, and the speed of his oscillating power had also increased by a lot, which made him very happy. Normally, when he entered the element gathering tier, he would only be able to unleash 30 waves of oscillating force. Now, not only did it exceed his estimation, the speed of the oscillating force was also very fast. After practicing the chasing wind spear art for a while, Night Sorrow began to practice the suppressing mountain hand. Along with the circulation of Jin Qi in his dantian, the diameter of the cyan cyclone in his hand had increased to over a foot. Night Sorrow reached out and patted the rockery on the side of the courtyard. Boom! Version CR Starter C. After a loud boom, a piece of bluestone on the rockery was sent flying. After the first palm strike, Night Sorrow circulated the Jin Qi in his dantian and shot out another palm strike. The result was the same as the first one. Feeling the Jin Qi in his dantian, Night Sorrow bitterly smiled. After shooting out 2 palms, Night Sorrow's dantian was completely empty. There was only a small amount of Jin Qi left. If he continued to fight, it wouldn't be long before his Jin Qi was completely exhausted. After calculating for a while, Night Sorrow understood that the suppressing mountain hand that he had used wouldn't affect the rest of the fight. After shooting out 2 palms, he would have to end the fight as soon as possible, or rely on the energy in his body to continue fighting. 13. The power of your suppressing mountain hand is not bad. I remember that your 9th senior sister could only shoot out 1 palm strike when she was in the early core condensation stage. She could only shoot out 2 palms when she was in the peak core condensation stage. Aoi came to Night Sorrow's side and said. Maybe my body's strength is a bit higher, but after shooting out 2 palms, my Jinchi is pretty much exhausted. Night Sorrow said. You should be content. In our Taishan Peak, only your 9th senior sister has cultivated the heaven-covering hand, and the effect isn't as good as yours. Relying on the heaven-covering hand, your 9th senior sister became a heaven-level disciple. Now that she has entered the 5th stage, she will always be treated as a heaven-level disciple in the sect. Aoi said with a smile. Night Sorrow knew that in the Taishan Peak, among Yu Yangyu's disciples, only first disciple Gong Xian and Yang Lei were heaven-level disciples. Huanan was sometimes a heaven-level disciple, and sometimes not. It wasn't very stable. After all, the competition between the disciples of the 12 peaks was very fierce. After practicing for a while, Night Sorrow returned to the 2nd floor to cultivate his Jin Qi and the myriad Dao Tong. 13. You don't need to worry about others. You don't need to push yourself. You know how to work hard. Seeing Sikong Chiyu walking over, Aoi said. If you work hard, even if you don't have talent, you can still become a good cultivator. If you have talent but don't work hard, you won't have great achievements. Only with talent and hard work can you become a powerhouse. Sikong Chiyu nodded and said. You're right. Aoi nodded at Sikong Chiyu. Sister Aoi, I haven't thanked you for guarding me. If it wasn't for little 6, I wouldn't have known. Thank you. Sikong Chiyu bowed slightly to Aoi. You're welcome. Oh yeah, I'm planning to go to the city to buy some things. Since it's not convenient for you to go out, I'll bring back whatever you need. Aoi said to Sikong Chiyu. I really need it. Help me buy some cotton cloth. Sikong Chuyu's face turned a little red when he said this. Okay, got it. Anything else? As a woman, Aoi knew why Sikong Chuyu was blushing. I don't need anything else. Sikong Chuyu shook his head. In the following days, Night Sorrow continuously cultivated the Windchaser spear art during the day, cultivating the swift and violent spear art concept. At night, he cultivated the Sage Cauldron scripture and the myriad Daos tome. In the beginning, Aoi and Sikong Chuyu still controlled their cultivation and sparred with Night Sorrow to help Night Sorrow cultivate his spear art. Later on, neither of them accompanied Night Sorrow to cultivate. Night Sorrow's spear art had a lot of strength. Strength had nothing to do with the thickness of one's true chi. Thick true chi could offset strength, but it couldn't offset everything. As long as their weapons collided, Aoi and Sikong Chuyu would definitely be at a disadvantage and would be pushed back. Strength aside, Night Sorrow's vibration force made the two of them feel helpless. If they used their weapons to block Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear, they would definitely be pushed back. If they controlled their cultivation to the same level as Night Sorrow, they wouldn't be able to fight. Even if they used their cultivation at the 5th level of element gathering tier, they wouldn't be able to fight. If they didn't control their cultivation, there would be no point in sparring. Beast Doll. I'll show you Beast Doll. You'll know how powerful our 13 is later. After sparring with Night Sorrow, Aoi was now very confident in Night Sorrow. Beast Doll's strongest point was his strong body. However, after seeing Night Sorrow's strength, Aoi didn't think much of Beast Doll's strength. Beast Doll? Who's Beast Doll? Sikong Chuyu, who was sitting together with Aoi and watching Night Sorrow cultivate, asked. Aoi didn't hide anything from Sikong Chuyu, and told him about the Taishan Peak and Nine Peak. Isn't this obviously shameless? Hearing Aoi's words, Sikong Chuyu was also very angry. Putting aside the fact that outer sect disciples cultivated for a very long time, this Su Chenbai using beast dolls to fight against Night Sorrow was really a bit ungentlemanly. Night Sorrow's current weakness is his low cultivation. That beast doll is at the 5th level of element gathering tier. If Su Chenbai takes it as his disciple, he'll definitely spare no effort to nurture it. I wonder what the situation will be like in half a year's time. Although Aoi had confidence in Night Sorrow, she was still worried. Chapter 83. Master and Su Chenbai aren't the same kind of people. Master doesn't want us brothers to get hurt, but that Su Chenbai is unscrupulous. He might increase Beast Child's cultivation without caring about the consequences. You know, if he doesn't care about the consequences and isn't stingy with his resources, then Beast Child might even reach the peak of element gathering tier. Aoi was still worried. That's true. Peak Master Lu only allowed Night Sorrow to use the Origin Strengthening Pill when he's in the 3rd and 7th level of element gathering tier. In other words, before Night Sorrow enters the newcomer competition, he can only eat 1 Origin Strengthening Pill. If Beast Child eats 3 pills without caring about the consequences, then his cultivation will definitely reach the 8th or 9th level of element gathering tier. Sikong Chuyu also understood the difference. Night Sorrow, come and eat some fruits. Rest for a while before you go cultivate, Aoi called out to Night Sorrow, who was wiping his sweat. See Genuine Edition H Chapter, Section 1-8. Night Sorrow was cultivating in the garden in the middle of the courtyard. Aoi and Sikong Chuyu were sitting at a stone table under an old tree, eating fruits and drinking tea. Night Sorrow walked over with his spear. The attack power is still not enough. Take it slow. Aoi threw a towel to Night Sorrow. Then have you thought about using the vibration force separately? One part is on the body of the spear, as long as it can shake off the opponent's weapon, and the other part is on the tip of the spear. That way, the attack power and destructive power will increase greatly. That's right. I'll try. Night Sorrow stuffed the green fruit in his mouth and went to cultivate according to Sikong Chuyu's idea. I should have told him this later. He really doesn't care about anything when he's cultivating, Sikong Chuyu said helplessly. You might not know, but 13 is an orphan. He wants to become a powerful warrior, so he went to find his family. Aoi lowered her voice and told Sikong Chuyu about Night Sorrow's situation. Night Sorrow's aura is very strong. He doesn't seem like a child from an ordinary family. It's very likely that he came from a big family, but something happened to his family, Sikong Chuyu said after some thought. Everyone was different. The descendants of bandits would inevitably have a bandit aura. The disciples of large clans would have a strong aura and a strong aura. This was an innate bloodline inheritance. According to Old Man Gu's description, the 2 people protecting Night Sorrow should be his guards. Now that they're dead, there's no one to report to them, so no one came to look for Night Sorrow, Aoi said. Sikong Chuyu nodded. She didn't expect Night Sorrow to have so many stories. Night Sorrow gradually found the feeling that Sikong Chuyu had described. He left the vibration energy in the body of the spear and controlled the rest to the tip of the spear. As for the energy in his body, it was used to increase the strength of his attacks. After finding the feeling, Night Sorrow cultivated for 4 hours. He studied the vibration energy in the body of the spear and the tip of the spear. Night Sorrow only stopped when the sky turned dark. He smiled at Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu and went to take a shower. This guy. I don't know how to describe him. To put it nicely, he's stubborn. To put it bluntly, he's crazy. Of course, he's not that crazy yet, Sikong Chuyu said as she finished the tea in her hand and stood up. After cultivating for another 2 days, Night Sorrow decided to go on a mission to consolidate his cultivation and train his spear skills. Sikong Chuyu didn't agree because Night Sorrow's cultivation was too low. He would be under a lot of pressure from the bronze mission. She couldn't go out with Night Sorrow now. However, Aoi agreed after thinking for a while. She felt that cultivators who cultivated in a greenhouse would have a high cultivation level but low combat power. Only by growing in battle could their combat power and cultivation level reach a balance. It could even be said that their combat power would exceed the combat power of a cultivator of the same level. Since Aoi agreed, Sikong Chuyu didn't have any objections. After making some preparations, Yishang left the Dragon Spring courtyard and went to the Celestial Terminus Tower. Seeing Night Sorrow, Enforcer Dong was stunned. Hee, I haven't seen you for a while. Your cultivation level has improved a lot. It's okay. I want to take on a mission. Night Sorrow took out his identity plate. Night Sorrow, you've only been in the Yuan Gathering realm for a short time. It's still difficult for you to take on a bronze mission. You should know that many Yuan Gathering realm cultivators are mixed in with the iron missions, Enforcer Dong said. He knew that Sikong Chuyu and Night Sorrow had a good relationship, so he didn't want Night Sorrow to take risks. Thank you, Lord Enforcer. I'll be more careful. I won't take on a mission like before. I'll take on a mission that I'm confident in, Night Sorrow said. He understood that Enforcer Dong was advising him out of goodwill. That's fine. Find someone that you're confident in. Enforcer Dong took out a bronze mission catalog and handed it to Night Sorrow. When Night Sorrow checked the missions, he heard the sound of people cursing. The black iron missions with high points and good rewards had all been swept away. Night Sorrow was a little puzzled. He hadn't taken on a mission for a while, so why was there still a shortage of iron missions? Ignoring the ruckus, Yi Shan took a look and chose a mission to kill bandits. There were several hundred bandits in this group, and the two commanders were both in the peak stage of element gathering tier. The mission item was the heads of the two bandit leaders. This mission is one of the less dangerous bronze missions, but it's still not suitable for you, Enforcer Dong said. Missions don't only rely on strength, but also intelligence. I won't fight them head-on. I'll do it when I have the chance. There's no time limit for this mission. I'll take it slow, Night Sorrow said with a smile. All right then. Remember, your life is the most important. After saying that, Enforcer Dong looked at the door of Tianji Tower because a young man in black had entered. He was called a young man in black because his face was a little young, and his body was the body of an adult. Night Sorrow turned to look at the young man in black. The young man in black also looked at Night Sorrow. What kind of eyes were those? Night Sorrow felt that he had only seen such eyes when he faced the purple gold beast king and Wu Jiao. It was cold and filled with killing intent. The young man in black and Night Sorrow looked at each other, then walked inside. He shouted at a waiter and entered a private room. It's him. He's the one who took on many iron missions. He even killed the 3 Iron Leopard brothers outside the city. When they saw the young man in black, many cultivators who were doing missions began to whisper. He's also a disciple of the Medicine Valley. He completed 2/3 of the iron missions this month, Enforcer Dong whispered to Night Sorrow. A disciple of the Medicine Valley? What's his name? Night Sorrow felt that he would definitely cross paths with this young man in black, and it would not be a friendly encounter. Su Mu, Enforcer Dong said to Night Sorrow. Su Mu. Night Sorrow knew that Su Mu was his main opponent in the Medicine Valley's newcomer competition. He was someone sent by the 9 Peak to deal with him. He did not expect the two of them to meet so soon. Thank you, Lord Enforcer. I'm going to do my mission. Night Sorrow nodded to Enforcer Dong and left Tianji Tower. Chapter 84. Enforcer Dong was stunned for a moment. He stared at Night Sorrow's back and felt that something was wrong. When he mentioned Su Mu's name, Night Sorrow's eyes lit up and his body emitted a fighting spirit. Both of them are excellent people, but they don't get along. Enforcer Dong murmured. However, he had a better impression of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was very sunny. Even when he was in conflict with Qin Zhan and Ao Lai, he was still very masculine and violent. On the other hand, Su Mu was not. Su Mu gave people the feeling that he was a wolf, a vicious wolf that was as insidious as a poisonous snake. Enforcer Dong did not like Su Mu's gaze. After leaving Danding City, Night Sorrow rode Tianyu to the last location of the Lu Mountain bandits. In the eastern Xian domain, the East Xian continent was filled with bandits. Only the powerful bandits would occupy a mountain and call themselves kings. Most of the bandits were roaming around because they were afraid of being exterminated. With the existence of Tianji Tower, once they provoked the rich, they would be exterminated. Some rogue cultivators were not polite to the bandits either. Robbing them was also a way to accumulate resources. These bandits, called the Lushan bandits, often appeared at Lushan Mountain. It was the place where a super expert, the Lushan Venerable, used to live. According to the information, these bandits would commit all kinds of crimes. They would burn, kill, rob, and even kill women and children. The mission this time was for the owner of a medicine shop in a small town in Danding City. When his daughter was returning to her husband's house from her parents' house, they encountered bandits from Lu Mountain. Everyone in the convoy was killed, including the old man's son-in-law, daughter, and 2 grandsons. His daughter's entire family was killed, which made the old man heartbroken. That was why he did not hesitate to go bankrupt to exterminate the Lu Mountain bandits. The Lu Mountain area was very large. It had a radius of 2,000 to 3,000 miles. The last place the Lu Mountain bandits appeared was the Lu Mountain Range. Knight Sorrow rode Tianyu for 2 days and arrived at the Lu Mountain Range. On the way, he asked Tianyu to catch an azure flower python. 1 man and 1 bird roasted the azure flower python and ate it. This azure flower python was very heavy, around 200 to 300 kilograms. Roasting such a big thing was quite strenuous, but Yi Shan was prepared. He had placed 2 slender steel rods in his storage ring. He could skewer the prey on the steel rods and roast it. Tianyu's current appetite was shocking. Knight Sorrow knew that this was because Tianyu needed energy to grow. Knight Sorrow could not see through Tianyu's cultivation. However, when they were in the Longquan Mountain Villa, Knight Sorrow asked Aoi. Aoi told Knight Sorrow that Tianyu had reached the peak of the 2nd stage and could enter the false core or core condensation stage at any time. Qing Ji also told Yi Shang that Tianyu was very likely to enter the core condensation stage without going through the false core stage. Whether it was a human or a demon beast, as long as they were talented and had a deep foundation, they didn't need to go through the false core stage and could directly enter the core condensation stage from the essence gathering stage. After feeding Tianyu, Knight Sorrow took out a bear skin and spread it on the ground. He let Tianyu lie down and rest more comfortably. After letting Tianyu rest, Knight Sorrow also began to meditate and cultivate. This time, Knight Sorrow was not in a rush to do missions. There was no time limit for missions, so he could do them while cultivating. During this time, Knight Sorrow's Shin Qi had entered the essence gathering stage. At the same time, Knight Sorrow's myriad Dao Tome had also made great progress. He had already reached the late 7th level of the blood refining realm. After cultivating for a night, he got up early in the morning and washed up. Then he began to cultivate his spear arts and the mountain suppression hand. At the same time, he let Tianyu catch some prey. Knight Sorrow cultivated his spear arts for a while. Tianyu also returned. His 2 claws were holding an azure flower python and a rainbow pheasant in his mouth. Haha. Tianyu, that's right. You like to eat pythons, and I like to eat birds. Let's do it this way. Knight Sorrow came to a water source not far from where they were resting. He cleaned the pythons and pheasants and roasted them. As he grew, Tianyu's intelligence became higher and higher. Not only could he understand Knight Sorrow's words, he could also think and do things on his own. Just like this time, when he caught 2 kinds of prey. After eating, Knight Sorrow got on Tianyu's back and flew around the area, looking for traces of the Lu Mountain bandits. Without any results, 1 man and 1 bird rested and cultivated. Knight Sorrow was not in a hurry anyways. After a few days, Knight Sorrow still did not find any traces of the Lu Mountain bandits. Fortunately, it did not delay his cultivation. After they set up camp this time, Tianyu, who had eaten the food, flew into the air and circled around. After landing, Tianyu called out to Knight Sorrow twice and then went to the innermost part of the canyon to lie down. After thinking for a while, Knight Sorrow understood that Tianyu was about to break through. He flew in the sky just now to investigate the situation and see if there was any danger. Looking at Tianyu lying there, Knight Sorrow also closed his eyes and meditated. As long as he was not in closed-door cultivation, Knight Sorrow could deal with any unexpected situation at any time. After 2 days of no movement, Knight Sorrow was a little anxious and worried. However, he could only wait. Knight Soro's myriad Tao treasured tome had reached a bottleneck, but he did not have time to think about breaking through. He only wanted Tianyu to successfully break through. On the afternoon of the third day, energy fluctuations appeared on Tianyu's body. The feathers on his body began to tremble and only stabilized after a while. L7Z edition plus _ first release. After observing for a while, Knight Soro discovered that Tianyu's aura was much stronger. He understood that Tianyu had successfully broken through. Relieved, Knight Soro carried his reincarnation spear and went to catch prey. He wanted to prepare the food when Tianyu woke up. When Knight Soro roasted a 600 to 700 gene smoked cow, Tianyu woke up. After a cry, he spread his wings and soared back and forth in the sky. His speed was 30% faster than before. After observing for a while, Knight Soro made a judgment. After flying a few rounds, Tianyu landed beside Knight Soro. Although Tianyu's body did not grow much, his aura was much stronger than before. Come and eat. Once you are full, I will also go into closed-door cultivation. After cutting 2 pieces of beef, Knight Soro threw the whole cow to Tianyu. More than half of the 600 to 700 gene smoked cow was eaten by Tianyu. Okay, help me guard. Don't let the demonic beasts disturb me. After informing Tianyu, Knight Soro went to the place where Tianyu had broken through. He sat down cross-legged and began his closed-door cultivation. He planned to enter the second stage of the myriad Tao treasured tome as soon as possible. That way, his battle strength would greatly increase. He planned to use the dragon bone pill after entering the 8th level of the blood refining realm. That way, his cultivation would quickly reach the peak of the 8th level of the blood refining realm. He would then stabilize his cultivation at the 9th level of the blood refining realm and prepare to enter the second stage of the myriad Tao treasured tome. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.